after a 3-game sweep of the other team from Texas and a quick 2-gamer in the Valley of the Sun. The Rangers return to their home confines with a 4-1 road record to their credit. Tonight, the start of a 7-game homestand begins with the Birds from Baltimore. After losing a tightly contested series to the Orioles in mid-July, the Rangers are looking to clip their wings here in Arlington.
Rangers baseball is presented by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right. And it is a beautiful night for baseball tonight. The opening game of this homestand for the Rangers. Happy to be back, and back with a little swagger these days as they take on the Baltimore Orioles in game 1 of a long 4-game series. Welcome in, everybody. Great to be with you tonight. I am Dave Raymond, and very happy to have back with me once again Tom Grieve. And this is the opening game of a homestand against Baltimore. Baltimore Orioles' worst record in Major League Baseball. The trade deadline is coming past, Tom, and this is a very different looking Baltimore team.
Yeah, they had some house cleaning, there's no doubt about it. We're going to look at the names that the Orioles traded. They traded their most promising young starter, Kevin Gausman, the back end of their bullpen, Zach Britton, Darren O'Day, Brad Brach, and probably their 2 best offensive players in Jonathan Scope and Manny Machado. They did keep one of their players, though, and that player who stayed is Adam Jones. Jones has been hot. 11-game hitting streak, a .386 average during that. This is a quality guy, a 5-time All-Star, huge presence in the community, 4-time recipient of the Heart and Hustle Award, 3-time recipient of the Roberto Clemente Award. He's a guy that loves it in Baltimore, wants to stay in Baltimore. The Orioles love having him. He's meant a lot to the franchise in the 11 years he's been there.
And he is absolutely the anchor now of this team that is lacking so much other support for him. Now today, the guy charged with trying to stop him and the rest of this Orioles team, Giovanni Gallardo, and he's been good.
He's been really good. What a nice addition to the ball club Giovanni Gallardo has been. He's working a little quicker, which is nice, and he's a pitcher who works on the edges. He keeps the ball away from the middle of the plate. In his last 2 starts, he's beaten 2 really good teams. Cleveland and Houston, hasn't given up a run in 11 1/3 innings. Since June 23rd, he's won 5 games. That's tied for the most in that time in the American League. What a nice addition. With all the injuries the Ranger had, he's made a big difference.
Former Ranger returning and doing well as a Ranger. Another former Ranger returning but starting tonight for Baltimore, Andrew Kashner. And one of the guys that he'll be charged with trying to stop today is the Rangers' Elvis Andrus. Well, he is on a nice hot streak right now, and we put him in the spotlight when we come back.
Rangers baseball is sponsored by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Ford is the best in Texas. By Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Here they come, folks, heading in to this homestand opener, Orioles and Rangers. And the Orioles are going to be here for a little while, a 4-game series with Baltimore, and a chance maybe for the Rangers to continue their little hot stretch they started on the road. And one guy certainly in the middle of that and on a hot stretch of his own. We put him in our Shiner Light Blonde spotlight, and that is Elvis Andrus.
Elvis is on a 12-game hitting streak, hitting .367 during that time. His average has gone up from .247 to .277. He's had a couple of home runs, including his first career grand slam. Also had his 1,500th career hit. So it's been a nice streak for Elvis. Little bit of time for him to get going since he came off the disabled list, but he looks like the Elvis of the last couple of years right now, swinging it very well.
Yeah, so he's doing what we all expect of Elvis these days. For a little more on him and the rest of these hot Rangers, we check in with Leslie McCaslin.
Well, guys, of course, Elvis Andrus has been so good at the plate, but how about Rougned Odor? 7 hits, 3 home runs on this last road trip. We all know how hard he's worked this season to improve, and it is finally paying off, particularly since the All-Star break. He has the highest batting average in the American League at a .391, and of course, not to be too far outdone, Elvis Andrus now 4th in the American League. You know, I talked to Delino DeShields about both of them before the game, and he told me, you know, with Elvis, it was only a matter of time after his injury, but he said for both guys, it's just how consistent they are with their routines every day. No matter what is happening at the plate, guys, they continue to go at it the same way day in, day out.
It's been fun to watch and good to see some of the development this year in season for so many of these Rangers, but no story greater than that of Rougned Odor. Well, the Orioles in town. Well, you talk about a team needing to develop a little bit. This team 33-75, 41.5 games out of first place. And they lead it off today with Jonathan Villar at second base. Tim Beckham at short, Adam Jones in center field. Then in the middle of the order, it's Trumbo, Chris Davis, and Trey Mancini in left field. Renato Nunez, a former Ranger, at third base. Jace Peterson in right field, and Caleb Joseph catching and rounding it out for the Orioles.
Let's take a look at our Shiner Light Blonde pitch arsenal for Yovani Gallardo. He's a finesse pitcher who mixes in a lot of different pitches. 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball, that's half of his repertoire. Slider, curveball, and a changeup. Slider's probably his second best pitch after his fastball. He also throws a curveball and a changeup, and as we said in the open to the show, he goes out of his way to live on the corners, live on the edges, and keep that ball away from the middle of the plate. And he's done a very nice job of it. 5-1 for the Rangers. Let's take a look at the Ranger defense, which is delivered by Methodist Health System. Willie Calhoun gets the start in left, Delino's in center, Joey Gallo will be in right field. In the infield, it's Adrian Beltre at third, Jurickson Profar at first. Up the middle, it's Elvis and Rougned, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa gets the start behind the plate.
All right, so we are set to go. The Orioles 41.5 games out of first place. So they're not going anywhere anytime soon. Trailing the Boston Red Sox in the American League East. That's an enormous number. Jonathan Villar leading it off. He'll show bunt, and he takes strike one.
No, surprisingly, though, the Orioles, with all the trade things going on in the last week or so, they've been playing pretty well. They've won 4 out of 5.
Oh, comebacker, and that one threw into center field. A base hit for Villar.
So Villar, welcome to Baltimore. Villar came over to the Orioles in the Jonathan Scope trade. He traded a second baseman, got some prospects back. He also had Jonathan Villar come back. Hits the ball right by Yovani up there. The Orioles had at least 15 hits in 4 of their last 5 games. Well, it's a team that really underperformed for almost the entire season. Pretty good offensive players, just didn't do anything for 3 months. Looks like they're starting to get it going. But it's a little bit too late. Doesn't really matter for them anyway.
Yeah, it's a weird. There's, I think, a pretty strange story this year, just because they had what appeared to be so many great players. You thought, well, they may not win the division, but you didn't figure them to be this bad. There was almost no way to see it coming.
No, and you know, when they put their team together in this offseason, they did it with the idea that they would be a contender. Probably not to beat out the Yankees or the Red Sox, but at least to battle for a wild card spot. They've been a pretty good team the last 5 or 6 years, been in contention. Boy, they fell right off the earth the first 3 months of the year, and pretty much attributed it to a terrible offensive performance by a lot of guys who are better than that, have been better than that anyway.
It'd be one thing if they had suffered a lot of debilitating injuries or something along those lines, but that really was not the case. Just guys not getting it done. But VR aboard, the 1-1 to Tim Beckham, and he hits this one into left field. So back-to-back singles to start the game, and the Orioles have a couple of men on, nobody out.
Really, the only Oriole that had been hot from day one was Manny Machado. But he couldn't do it all by himself. Take a look at the two-seam fastball, a little sinking action. Probably not a strike, but Beckham kept his hands in, got the barrel of the bat on it, and hit it pretty sharply into left field. 2 up, 2 singles. Orioles, at least so far in this game, are staying hot.
So now here is Adam Jones. Jones, who we mentioned, have been hitting the ball well. 11-game hitting streak for him. And when the Orioles decided to unload the majority of their tradable, marketable talent, guys like Manny Machado, who we mentioned, Jonathan Scope recently. Jones was on that list, little comebacker, and Gallardo has it. The only play he'll have will be at first base. So the runners advance. VR to third, Beckham to second base on the 1-2-3 putout.
Gallardo looked like a quarterback looking for a receiver. Checked down to his third receiver. Luckily, he got it to first base in time. But he had an outside chance at third, but Adrian was coming for the ball. There was no one at third. Looked at second. Didn't think he could get the guy at second, but because it was a tapper right back to the mound, he still had plenty of time to get Adam Jones at first. Moved the runners up, though.
So now we'll go after Mark Trumbo in a spot here where Trumbo with a fly ball, or really just a figure, a ball in play, might score the first run of the game. The Rangers are playing back on the infield. It's a strike, 1-1. Trumbo, last 17 games, look at that, with runners in scoring position, just 2 for 20. He has stranded 26 runners.
Yeah, Trumbo is one of those guys with pretty nice track record as a middle of the order power guy. Never hit for a whole bunch of an average, and the reason why is because he swings a lot of pitches, like the one he just swung at right there. Doesn't walk very much. You can get him to expand the strike zone for sure.
Gallardo's had trouble with him over the years. Trumbo 6 for 11 against him. Hits this ball on the ground, second base. That will get a run home. Odor throws out Trumbo, but Baltimore gets the first run of the game. 2 away now with Beckham at third base. It's 1-0.
Well, Gallardo went to the same pitch that he waved at the pitch before it. This one probably wasn't a strike either. Trumbo kind of waved at it, but got contact anyway. And a little ground ball to second, but picked up the run.
So there's Beckham now. With 2 away, Chris Davis is going to have to come up with something here. And Davis, when you think about the Orioles' struggles this year, he is the poster boy. Lowest average in Major League Baseball among qualifying hitters, a 159 average, 13 home runs, and only 35 RBIs. Rangers put a pretty significant shift on against him. Odor fairly deep out into the grass in right field.
Yeah, when you look at Chris's numbers, it's just kind of baffling how he could fall so far. I mean, I can see a player dropping 20 or 30 points maybe from one year to the next, having a bad year, going from 35 home runs to 22 or 23. It wasn't that long ago where Chris hit 47 home runs. He's going to be lucky to hit 20 this year, and probably won't even get close to hitting 200.
It's this ball foul out of play, 2-2.
Giovanni pounding the inside part of the plate to get ahead in the count.
How about that number, 323 strikeouts since the beginning of last season for Davis. I mean, that's a pretty big number. You and I were talking about Ted Williams earlier this afternoon, just sitting around up here earlier today. Like, that's almost half the number of strikeouts in Ted Williams' career. Ted Williams struck out 709 times in his career. Davis struck out 323 times since the start of last year.
Pretty good ratio. He walked over 2,000 times.
Down low, and there's a walk for Davis. So a 2-out walk, in fact. Orioles have him on the corners for Trey Mancini.
Yeah, at the Ranger luncheon tomorrow, we're going to have a little round table to talk about Ted Williams. Bill Ziegler was a trainer for the Rangers for a long time during the Ted Williams years. Rich Billings and caught for Ted Williams, and Eddie Robinson, former all-star player, outstanding major league executive, scout, and an all-star gentleman. 96 years old, I think, is going to be part of that roundtable discussion. Looking forward to that tomorrow.
Mancini takes high. Trey Mancini batting 6th tonight. See the .231 average over there to the right of your screen, but since the All-Star break, he's been one of the better hitters in the league. 2-0. Showed a graphic just a moment ago when Leslie was talking about some of the hot Rangers hitters, and you saw some good numbers since the All-Star break, and Mancini's was right up there among them. 341 average. Looks this one high into center field, playable for Delino, and the inning is done. So the Orioles will settle for a run on a couple of hits. They lead 2. Good start for them. The Rangers coming to bat. Orioles got the first run of the game in their half of the first inning, and now here come the Rangers, 46-63, and our Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Shin-Soo Choo leading it off as a DH. Odor at second base. Andrews at short. Beltre bats cleanup. Profar and Gallo to follow. Then it's Isaiah Kiner for left and doing the catching. Willie Calhoun in left, and Delino to Shields in center field rounding it out. Andrew Cashner has the start tonight for Baltimore. His 21st start of the year, 3 wins, 9 losses, a 4.33 ERA. Well, 2 brings a 277 average, 20 home runs, 51 driven in. Won the count. 2 had a couple of home runs in that opening game in Arizona. And he rolls this one on the ground towards second base. VR, who was deep, throws him out. And that is out number 1.
Let's take a look at our Shiner light blonde pitch arsenal today for Andrew Kashner. He'll throw his 2-seam fastball. That's his sinking fastball. Most of the time, 4-seam fastball, curveball, changeup, slider. Pretty much the same repertoire as Giovanni Gallardo. I think when Andrew is pitching well, he's keeping the ball down, boring it in off the hands of a right-hand hitter. Good sinking action. Giving up a few more home runs so far this year than normal. To be exact, 1.3 per 9 innings. That's the 4th highest rate of his career. Generally a guy that keeps the ball on the ground and doesn't give up a lot of home runs.
Well, his 1-0 to Rougned Odor. A little bit in. 2-0. He wanted a new baseball. Rugi, 7 for 18 on that road trip with a couple of doubles, 3 home runs, and was named the Rangers Player of the Month for July. Huge month for him. He's ahead here, 3-0. To me, we talked about the home runs, the extra base hits, the high average, all those things for Odor, and they have been wonderful. The biggest difference is his patience, his discipline up there, not swinging at everything, taking, even in that case, a close pitch, a strike in fact, but one with which he could probably do very little. And that has resulted in some vastly improved results. The 3-1, full count. And then, of course, the other thing with Rugi, and we have talked about it, has been the improved defense. He has been outstanding defensively.
Yeah, we've seen the offense before, so he's just kind of getting back to where we've seen before. The defense is another story. He has never played defense better than he's playing it right now. I think that's been more of a dramatic improvement than his hitting is.
Well, he draws a walk in a 7-pitch at bat.
The Orioles defense is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Trey Mancini in left. Jace Peterson gets the start in right. The veteran Adam Jones in center field. Ex-Ranger Renato Nunez is at third base. Tim Beckham, Jonathan Villar up the middle. Chris Davis at first, and behind the plate, Caleb Joseph.
And a base runner for Andrews, working on a 12-game hitting streak. Takes one just off the edge. Elvis 1 for 4 in Tuesday night's game in Arizona. And so he's got the 12-game hitting streak overall, but at home here it's been 15 in a row. Kashner finds the inside corner. It's 1-1. As many Rangers fans know, Elvis missed those 2 months with the fracture of that bone in his right elbow. He was hit by a pitch back in early April in a game against the Angels. And he hooks this one by third, pass short and into left field. And Andrews now with a 13-game hitting streak.
We talked about Elvis and how he struggled when he came off the disabled list. He said he was surprised it took him so long to get going. You see the breaking ball right there from Kashner. Elvis has to reach for it, but reached far enough to get the barrel of the bat on it, yank it into left field for a well-hit ground ball single. But Elvis looks like he's back now. He's raised his batting average in the last 2 weeks by over 30 points now. And although he hasn't pounded the ball out of the ballpark, he has hit a couple of home runs in the last couple of weeks too. Had his first grand slam the other day.
Now 2 runners out there for Adrian Beltre. He's been swinging a hot bat as well. Takes strike 2. So Cashner coming right after Beltre. 5 home runs, 33 RBIs for Adrian this year. Cashner, 31 years old. Grew up in Conroe, Texas, about 2.5 hours south of here. Beltre lifts this one into center field, but that one's not going to carry. Jones is there, and there are 2 gone. Odor tags. He'll make it to third base. The Rangers have him on the corners, but with 2 outs, it's still going to take a base hit.
And the first baseman, number 19, Jefferson
Profar now. You see the RBIs, 6 of them in the last 5 games for Profar. 52 for the year for him. Been a really good year for Jurickson Profar.
It has been, really has been. You know, if he can stay or get even hotter the last 2 months, get his average up 260, 265, be a real solid number. And if he knocks in 12 or 13 runs a month, he's got a chance to knock in 75, maybe 80 runs if he really gets hot, which I think would be an outstanding year for him. He's 3rd in the team with 52 RBIs right now.
Real good contact for Profar this year. How about this? Balls off the bat at 95 or better this year. Only Chu, Mazzara, and Gallo have hit more of them than Profar.
Yeah, he'll be one of the rare regulars at the end of the year who has a great chance to strike out less than 75 times. And in today's game, you don't see that very often.
Keeps this one foul out of play. It's 1-1. Door at third, Andrus at first with 2 out. The other thing with Profar is, especially lately, it's not that he can play a lot of different positions. Rangers do have a number of guys who are pretty versatile that way, but we have seen them a lot of times show their versatility with sort of successive games at one position. Profar, day by day, he is all over the diamond. First base one day, third base the next.
I think it really helped Jurickson to be a shortstop for a couple of months while Elvis was out. Got a chance to get his feet wet. I mean, get his feet on the ground, develop some consistency by playing the same position. And once he did that,
oh boy, this ball hit well. Out to right field and gone! Into the upper deck. Profar with a 3-run shot, and the Rangers are in front. 11th homer of the season for Profar, and that one a no-doubter.
yeah, that one shows how the ball can jump off his bat. It went into the upper deck, and it got there in a hurry. It wasn't a high fly ball. It was more of a line drive. It's a sinker, but it's belt high and tailing right back to the middle of the plate. Almost did catch the center square, and Jurickson took advantage of it. Hit it right on the barrel of the bat, over 400 feet. Not the first ball he's hit to right field in this ballpark over 400 feet either. So he kind of goes right along with what we were saying about him. He adds a home run and 3 more RBIs. I think he really solidified his place as a regular, and it helped by playing shortstop every day. Since that time, he's moved around, but the fact that he got a chance to do it at shortstop for a long time really helped him.
Gallo rolls out to end the inning, but a big inning it was.
Well, you take advantage of pitchers' mistakes, and there's one down the middle, and there it goes into the upper deck. Rangers lead 3-1.
far. A nice start to this one. We get going here in the second inning. Bottom third of the order coming for the Orioles. Renato Nunez, the former Ranger, playing third base for Baltimore tonight, and he takes strike one from Giovanni Gallardo.
Oh, it's an interesting matchup tonight. Andrew Kashner and Giovanni Gallardo. I just got a text from Jim Schlossnagel, the TCU baseball coach. In fact, one of the best baseball coaches in the country. He's had enormous success at TCU, and he reminded me that Gallardo
bounce through third, and that one through. Base hit for Nunez.
Was part of his first recruiting class at TCU. Giovanni went to Trimble Tech, was a tremendous high school pitcher. He chose to sign with Milwaukee, never went to TCU. But also part of that recruiting class was Matt Carpenter, who's become pretty much an all-star caliber player with the St. Louis Cardinals. And Andrew Kashner was a Frog. He did pitch for TCU. So it's a starting matchup tonight with one Horned Frog against a guy that could have been one, in Giovanni Gallardo.
Jace Peterson with a bunt to third. Wow. Belcher with a barehanded throw, and he does it again. That's a third time in like a week that he's pulled that off. What a nice play once again by the 39-year-old soon-to-be Hall of Famer.
Yep, that's the thing. 39 years old. You probably shouldn't be able to make this play this way when you're 39 years old. That ball almost stopped and went to the left, our left. Adrian had to adjust, come back after it. He's going straight toward the third base dugout when he gets leverage to fire that ball to first base and makes a strong, accurate throw. That's kind of his trademark play that he's made throughout his career, and he's still making it.
I'd smile like that if I could do that too. That is awesome. This ball flared to the right side. Out of play by Caleb Joseph. No balls and 2 strikes on him. Joseph bringing a .232 average into the game. A couple of home runs, but as you can see there at the bottom of the screen, he's been swinging a pretty solid bat since the beginning of July. So the last month, a friendly one for him to the tune of a .339 average, I guess including yesterday as well. Off the plate, 1-2. Joseph, when we talk about how good he was since the beginning of July, strikes out here, 2 away. As many hits since July 1st as he had in the first, what, March, April, May, June, 4 months of the season. How about that? He had 19 hits in March through June.
It really was a team-wide problem early in the season, all except for Manny Machado. No one was hitting the ball. Scope was down around 200. Beckham's been around 200. Adam Jones was off to a less than average start. Trumbo, Chris Davis, slow starts. Mancini off to a really slow start. He hit 290 last year for the O's. Caleb Joseph, who does a lot of their catching, same thing you just mentioned. So generally you have maybe 2 or 3 guys that are slumping at one time, but in the case of the Orioles, it was 7 or 8 of them. And it didn't just last for a couple of weeks like a normal slump would be. It lasted for 3 months.
1-0 to VR. Swings right through it. I mentioned it when VR led off the game. The newest Oriole trade deadline acquisition from Milwaukee came over along with a couple of minor leaguers for Jonathan Scope. One of the more surprising trades we saw at the deadline. But he was on the disabled list with a sprained right thumb. And so just off the DL, and now today in his Orioles debut, 2-1. Initially signed by Philadelphia many years ago. and then traded by the Phillies to Houston in the Roy Oswalt deal back in 2010. Played parts of 3 years in Houston before eventually traded to Milwaukee, and so once again shuffled off. A guy with plenty of big league time, but traded from one organization to the next every 2 or 3 years, it seems. Primarily a leadoff hitter in his career. It's this ball high in the air out to right field, hanging up a little bit for Joey Gallo, and now Delano DeShields ranging over. Delano makes the play. Inning done. Orioles leave a man in scoring position. We played 1.5, and the Rangers lead by 2.
Rangers up 3-1 thanks to a Jurickson Profar home run. So we welcome you back to Globe Life Park. Well, Nomar Mazara was put on the DL out of the All-Star break with a right thumb injury, and he has still not returned. Jeff Bannister was asked before tonight's game if he is alarmed at all, and he said, no, I'm not alarmed, but there's always some concern when you have an injury that lingers. But right now, guys, it's getting better. It comes down to just trying to build some strength in that thumb back and make sure that it's not a reoccurring injury for Nomar.
It makes sense to be cautious with Nomar. So we just hope he gets better.
It's too bad Nomar was on his way to hitting a lot more home runs than he's hit the last couple of years. Don't know exactly what he would have ended up with. He had 15 when he got hurt. 20 was his high the last couple of years. Also had a really good chance of knocking in 100 runs for the second straight year.
This ball hit out to right field, but right to Jace Peterson. Kind of Falefa the first out of the second inning.
Even though Nomar hasn't played in quite a while, he's still second on the team with 58 RBIs. Joey Gallo has 59, and Jurickson Profar now has 55. Not out of the question that when the season ends, Jurickson Profar might lead the team in RBIs. It would probably be something we didn't predict at the beginning of the year.
Willie Calhoun now. .250 average, a home run and 4 driven in for Willie. And he pops this one up left side. That one should make the seats. It does. Calhoun called up right after the All-Star break. Sits safely in 6 of his last 8 games. This is just the 13th game in which he has played. And shoots this one past third base. That one will roll all the way into the corner. And Calhoun With an easy one-out double here in the second inning. That's his first double of the year.
When you listen to people talk about Willie Calhoun, people who have seen him play a lot in the minor leagues, that's the kind of hitter that they talk about. A guy that can hit line drives from one foul line to the other, and a high fastball tailing away from him. Very tough pitch if you try to pull it. He puts a nice level swing and hits it pretty much exactly how you would hope to hit that pitch for an extra base hit down the left field line. Really starting to swing the bat a little bit. Last 9 games, he's hitting 325, 330-ish, right around in there.
So the corner's in a little bit now with the Shields at the plate. Delino recalled from AAA Round Rock on Saturday. He's gone 2 for 6 with 3 walks in a couple of games since then. And holds up here. No, he does not. He went around 1-1. It's just a 3-day stay with the AAA club for Delino. Overall, a bit of a struggle at the plate this year. Two and 1. His on-base percentage, though, .305. So a little below league average, but not terribly so. Oh, 3-1. Cashner walked Odor in the first inning. And the Shields sends this one out to right center, drops down, base hit. Calhoun, slow start from second, but they'll wave him to the plate. Here comes a throw, not in time. Just got in there ahead of it. And it's 4-1 Rangers.
Yeah, that's one of those you couldn't tell whether he's going to be able to make it or not. He waited a little bit to make sure that that soft line drive was going to fall. And once it did, he was waved home by Tony Beasley, and that's how close the play was. Just got his right leg underneath the tag by Caleb Joseph. Nice relay throw home. There's a great look at it. Nice try by Caleb Joseph. Fielded it like a first baseman almost and tried to slap the tag on. That's one a catcher 50 years ago couldn't make. Didn't have the kind of gloves that catchers use nowadays. It's much more like a first baseman's mitt today than it was back then. You would have had to use 2 hands and bring both your hands around to try to make that tag, which was much more difficult back then.
Yeah, well, and you'd also be met with a base runner more times than not as well. those were a little different times indeed at the plate.
Yeah.
Bad glove and a lot of contact that didn't make it easy. Now to Shields with good speed at second. And this one in the dirt, and Delino will head to third base and be there easily. I would assume be a wild pitch.
Buck signaling to the infielders to play in now with a man at third base. Yeah, that one actually hit his glove before it hit the dirt. He just didn't get his glove down far enough. That's one of those borderline plays. Personally count that with pass ball.
Yep, they did. They scored a pass ball. So now Chu swings and misses, and that is strike 2. A run in. There you see the infield creeping in as they want to try and cut down to Shields at the plate on a ground ball on the infield here. Easier said than done.
Pretty much holding him on at third base so he can't get a big jump too. Don't see that very often.
No, but even with the infield in, that kind of makes a little sense to keep him close, because with his speed and his ability to accelerate as quickly as he does,
and you can't afford to let him get too big a lead.
2-2. Tony Beasley, some last-minute instructions. So when we were in Arizona, they announced Delano DeShields as junior over the PA system. And we got in this conversation about how he's not a junior, Delano. And I asked him the next day about that. I said, you know, does it bother you that that happens a lot? This one in the dirt, he's not going anywhere. And I said, no, we had a long chat about his name and middle name and everything with his dad, and the family, a lot of stuff. But I said, so does it bug you then that people call you DeShields Jr. sometimes in these stadiums? I had this really measured response. He's like, you know, no, not really. Doesn't bug me too much. He's like, I look at it like this. I think they're just trying to help people understand I'm not my dad. It's a swing and a miss, and Chu goes down on strikes. He's like, it's just a simple way to communicate to the fans, like Delano DeShields, but you know, not the old Expo, right? Junior. We'll just call him Junior.
Well, that would be quite a career if his dad was still playing. That was a pretty good changeup by Andrew Kashner, getting Chu with one out and a man on third base.
And a big out right there for Kashner. So now Rougned Odor, who walked in the first. Here's ball one. Now Rugi is our TXU Energy power player to watch. Hardest hit balls this season for Odor. You see all those at better than 110 miles per hour off the bat. Those have all been like the last week. So the 5 hardest balls he's hit this year, very recently. And it's 2-0. All the numbers are so good for Odor over the last month. You want to look at it since June or even mid-May. But even with all that, it's like he's just getting incrementally better day by day. He's ahead here, 3-0. Kashner really nibbling.
Laying off pitches that maybe in the past he might have offered at, especially 2-0. Man in scoring position. I think there were times where he would expand the zone, trying to knock in that run. Never even thought about offering at that 2-0 pitch.
Takes ball 4, second walk tonight. So you look at the player of the month and Odor heading down to first base. Here's why. 341 average, 6 home runs, an OPS over 1,000. Scored 18 times.
I think when you watch Rugi right now is the time where it's important for him to show patience, because he's swinging the bat so well right now that if you're a pitcher and you've got an advanced scouting report on the Rangers, one of the things that they'll say is their hottest hitter is Rougned Odor. Go out of your way not to let him beat you. Don't give him a good pitch to hit. And that being the case, he has to be selective, because he's going to have a lot of at-bats where the pitcher pitches him like Andrew Kashner has twice today. And if you're patient, you pick up a couple of walks, which helps your on-base percentage, helps the team. So keeping from expanding the zone when you're hot like this for Rugi, that's an important thing. He's done it twice tonight.
Well, Andrus has already extended his hitting streak to 13 games. And a chance here to not only add a hit to his ledger, but drive in some runs. Nice play by that fan down there. This one out to right field, slicing away from Peterson, drops in. That's a base hit, and indeed gets DeShields home. Odor goes to third. It's an RBI single for Andrus. Now a 5-1 Rangers lead.
Well, Rugi has been hot, doing a lot of damage. He's worked a couple of walks. Elvis has gotten hot himself, and he has a couple of base hits. Pretty good pitch by Cashner. He ran the fastball inside part of the plate. Elvis inside out of that pitch, served it out into right field. Softly enough to make sure it didn't go far enough so that Peterson could catch it.
A little visit on the mound. Cashner having a tough go here, and already activity as bodies begin to stir out of that Orioles pen. Brings up Adrian Beltre. Cashner didn't like that baseball. Well, you look at runs per game, basically since the All-Star break. Orioles, the hottest offense in the game. Rangers right there, third best.
Orioles got hot when it didn't matter. They had back-to-back games against Tampa Bay. They won 15-5, 11-2, and 11-5. 4 out of 5 games they had 15 hits or more.
2-1 on Beltre.
I guess Milwaukee's hoping that they get a very hot Jonathan Scope. Scope was cold for most of the year. Started to get hot. That's what Milwaukee will be banking on.
To the count. Cashner in some trouble here. 21 pitches last inning. 30 pitches here in the second.
Nobody warming up right now, though.
Big, strong Texan. Cashner, he had to show some patience this offseason. Didn't sign until mid-February. This one bounces in the dirt all the way to the backstop. Odor comes in. Andrews all the way to third on a very wild pitch. 6-1 Rangers.
All Rangers so far. Rangers getting hits, knocking in runs, and running the bases. Boy, that pitch was in the left-handed batter's box. Joseph can't find it. Obviously, Rugi scores easy. And Elvis pretty much easily goes from first all the way over to third on the wild pitch.
And there's ball 4. Beltre takes the walk. Third walk issued so far tonight by Cashner.
I'm going to check out StatCast A1 powered by AWS. What's it going to show us? This. Jurickson Profar lined a home run into the upper deck in right field. Came off the bat at 108 miles an hour. Low launch angle. Projected distance 436 feet. That's about as well right now as he can hit a line drive at 108 miles an hour. He might have another mile an hour or 2 in there, but that pretty much maxed it out. That's one when you hit that ball like that off the barrel of the bat, you don't even feel it hit the bat. It's a great feeling for a hitter. No vibration, doesn't sting your hands like it does if you hit it off the end or off the handle. It's one of those almost perfect swings, perfect contact, and a great pitch to hit too.
On the corner, count 0-2. Profar sporting those band-aids just underneath his left eye from an incident that occurred in Houston on Sunday. 0-2 pitch. And he'll tap this one by the mound, and that's through a base hit. Andrews scores. Beltre chugging to third. He's in there. RBI single by Profar. It's 7-1.
Pretty good couple of innings for Jurickson. Stays with that off-speed pitch, down and away. Bounces it up the middle. That's his 4th RBI now. 3-run homer and an RBI single in the first 2 innings.
So 4 runs in here in the 2nd inning, and now Joey Gallows, the Rangers, will have batted around against Cashner. It's a little bit in. So let's go back Sunday afternoon. This was in Houston. What a wild play. Profar with a big hit right there. And then wisely seeing nobody covering second, darts for second, only to have that happen.
Oh, that is so scary. That foot could have hit an inch in either direction and done so much more damage. And it's terrible that he got hit like he did, but boy, it could have been worse.
He left the playing field, went up into the clubhouse, and eventually reemerged with some band-aids on his face, which was kind of remarkable that he stayed in the game. Look again. This was the first game that Yulieski Gurriel had played at second base since his days in Cuba.
Boy, that's when you get hit that hard and you don't really know exactly what happened. Did it cause a gash? Is it bleeding? Where did it hit? The whole side of your face hurts. So to end up like he did with what happened, and Gurriel is probably about 230 pounds. Pretty lucky that that's all that happened.
This ball hit well. Over first on the right field line by Gallo. It gets Beltre to the plate. Profar got a good start at first, but they'll stop him at third. And it's a single, rather a double, and an RBI for Gallo. Rangers lead at 8-1. And that might be it. Comes Buck Showalter out of the dugout. A brisk walk out to the hill, and it is one of those nights where Cashner doesn't seem to have it, not fooling anybody, and he is done. So Cashner can't get through 2 innings tonight. Rangers open it up quickly on the Orioles. New arm coming on. Who's in, who's out pitching change brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. Well, who's out? It's Andrew Cashner. Couldn't get through 2 innings today. Still responsible for the base runners. And who's in? Donnie Hart making his 11th appearance for the Orioles.
Yeah, Donnie Hart has had a very interesting season. I thought this was a mistake until I read it twice. This is the 8th time that he's been recalled this season. That sounds almost impossible to believe, unless it's a misprint in their notes. And in 4 months, he's been up and down 8 times. Pitching well in AAA while he's been there anyway, an ERA under 2. Might have to check on that one. I don't think I've ever seen anyone get called up 8 times in 1 year. Scott Feldman had 5 or 6 1 year for the Rangers. That seemed like about as many as you could possibly have. I'm going to have to check that one out.
Well, this is off the plate to Kiner Falefa, who started the inning by lining out to right field. He's 0 for 1 so far tonight. The 1-1 pitch. So 3 runs in the first inning, 5 runs so far here in the second. This ball lined out to right center field. That's a base hit. That'll get 2 to the plate. Profar and Gallo both in. Kiner Falefa hustling for 2, and he is in there. Well, but he came off the bag, and they tag him out. Well, briefly, a 2-run double, but the inning is done.
Well, there's been a lot of offense this inning. It started out a long time ago with Willie Calhoun's double. He shoots it down the left field line. It was followed by an RBI double by Delino, an RBI single by Elvis, another one by Profar, Joey Gallo with a double down the line, and then Falefa with a double to center for 2 more runs. Big 5-run inning for the Rangers.
Such a cool honor recently for Isaiah Kiner Falefa, named the Rangers Heart and Hustle Award winner by Major League Baseball's Player Alumni Association. And they give that award every year to everybody, or rather each team. And it's for that passion and dedication and work ethic on the field. That was the double a moment ago, scored 2 runs, and that was the brief exit of the bag. You could argue that Beckham lifted the leg off right there. But it's not an argument that anybody was going to listen to. So the inning is done. 10-1 Rangers on that 2-run double. And now the very first pitch of the 3rd inning, Beckham flies out to center field for out number 1.
Yeah, I need to correct something I said recapping that inning. I said it was a big 5-run inning. Well, while I was saying that, 2 runs scored on Kiner Falefa's base hit to right field. So that was a 7-run inning, not a 5-run inning. But that is a nice honor. And I don't know that there's ever been a player win that for his team when he's been in the big leagues well under a year. I think generally it's an award that goes to a player who's established himself, not necessarily, but in his case, alumni players certainly have recognized what he's meant to the team, the way he's played the game, the way he prepares, the fact that he's gone from the infield behind the plate and done such a nice job back there. He's earned that award, and it was nice recognition by the alumni players to notice that.
One out for Adam Jones. 2-1 the count. Yeah, it's one thing for us to make note of that. We're around him all the time. We see it. We talk to the coaches. We talk to the players. But you almost wonder, I mean, how does the Alumni Association get keyed into that? And I guess
must be watching the games.
Well, maybe that's it. Yeah, or they're privy to certain information. Maybe they keep in touch with some of the guys too. But that is a really cool honor.
Sure. And it's not like he was the only candidate. A lot of guys in the Ranger lineup that play with heart and show hustle. So for him to be picked above all the rest of them, very, very nice honor.
There's a walk to Adam Jones. So the Orioles have a base runner here with the third inning. Gives us time for a Chevy game break, and we'll check in with John Radigan.
You read about all the trades and the ones that catch your attention. Manny Machado getting traded, Wood Bryce Harper getting traded. Sometimes it's the under the radar trades for a guy like Pierce going to a team with a loaded lineup that blends in, gets big hits, and can make a huge difference in the season that you don't really notice unless you're following the Red Sox and watching them. But that's the kind of player he's been over the years. Did that for the Orioles when he played for the Orioles, did that in Toronto. Been that kind of a player, kind of guy that you might not notice him as one of the stars on the team, but day in and day out, he'll get some big hits for you.
Gallardo off the plate to Trumbo here, 2-1. As a former general manager, do you find that you watch with a little more attention or interest around the trade deadline, what's going on like that?
Sure. I find it fascinating trying to figure out why some trades were made. Some are financial deals, teams trying to unload a salary. You wonder, boy, why couldn't they get more for him? Well, he's going to be a free agent. He's making a lot of money. I even saw one trade. It looked like it was two young prospects, one for the other. You don't see those kind of trades at the deadline very often. But, you know, generally you see teams that have a chance to win, knowing they're going to have to give up young players. A lot of times prospects, minor league players, very valuable players, part of your future. But when you're trying to win now, sometimes you have to do that to get the player you need. The Rangers went through that for 3-4 years in a row, where they in some ways depleted their farm system. But when you've got a chance to win, you don't have that many opportunities. You don't know when the next one's going to come. And that's why you have a deep minor league system, to be able to make those kind of trades.
Big strikeout. Two away in the inning.
It's also kind of fun to read about teams that will acquire a pretty good veteran player. You see the prospects, but you really don't know much about them. And you might read that a certain team was able to improve their team but not give up one of their top 10 prospects. Might get a really good player but not have to give up one of their top 3 prospects. So if you're one of those teams, you feel pretty good about it. You kept, I guess, the heart of your prospects, the core of them, intact, still were able to improve your team. And there's some trades where you don't have any choice. To get the player that you feel might make a difference, you got to give what they want. In some cases, that's one of your top prospects. That's just kind of the way it goes. Tough decisions to make, though. When you find them, develop them, you know that you might not have another one like him for 3 or 4 years, and you're going to have to give him up.
Gallardo comes back with a quick shutdown inning in the third with a couple of strikeouts. We're at the bottom of the third, 10-1 Rangers. already. How about this? When the Rangers score, you save. You're saving big tonight. Any run the Rangers score gets the Orioles in this series. We'll give you a chance to save on full-price tickets to upcoming Rangers games, including the series against the Mariners coming up Monday through Wednesday. The discount applies to up to 10 cumulative runs or up to $10 off select seating sections. Go to TexasRangers.com/specials to start saving on tickets for Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Pretty awesome so far. 10 runs on 8 hits. And now Willie Calhoun, 8th place hitter. Bounces one back to the mound. Donnie Hart with a nice play to leap up and grab it. One away. All right, let's check in with Leslie McCaslin.
Well, guys, this is Avery and Isabel Wolf. They are in from California, and the really cool thing is their granddad won the opportunity to throw out the starting pitch, and instead he let Avery, they both play softball out in California, throw the first pitch of the game today. Okay, Avery, the fans right now are seeing you do it. You got it over the plate. I'm impressed. How was it?
Nervous-ish.
Clearly, you're some good luck for the Rangers tonight. You having a good time?
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here. You are our progressive fan of the game. You can share it with your sister if that's okay. All right, guys, she did a great job. I don't know, maybe better than you could do, Dave. What do you think?
Probably. I think that's probably a given.
Well, I checked with Jim Palmer next door, and
yeah,
Donnie Hart has been called up 8 times this year. It's actually,
it's awesome.
It's not a typo. 8 times in 4 months. He was the closer at AAA. He struggled in the big leagues to get right-hand hitters out there. Even about 420 against him.
Oh, Shields rifles that one down to Davis. Quickly 2 away.
There's Jim. Still looks like he could pitch. Looks like he's about 40 years old.
Now, you had a good story about Palmer in spring training giving up an unlikely hit.
He did. Charlie Pride has been going to Ranger spring training since at least 1970. Boy, 2 or 3, 4, right around in there. And when Billy Martin managed our team, he told Charlie that he was going to let him play in a major league spring training game, not an exhibition minor league game, but a regular spring training game. Rangers actually signed him to a contract. He's taking batting practice. We were playing the Orioles, and Jim Palmer walked in with the Orioles and said to him, he was pitching that day, said, "Look, Charlie, I saw you're in the lineup. I'm not going to throw you a curveball, but I'm going to throw you the same fastball I'm throwing to everybody else." And Charlie said something like, "Hey, bring it on. Whatever you got, bring it on." Charlie had played some minor league baseball. And so Palmer threw him a fastball. I think he grounded out his first time up to second base. Second time up, he rolled a base hit up the middle against Jim Palmer. And I recently came across the video of that. I'm going to show it to you sometime after the game of Charlie getting that base hit against Palmer. I showed Jim. I think he said something like, "Yeah, well, I should have thrown the curveball. Wouldn't have gotten a base hit." But it was funny when Charlie was pinch run for after he got to first base. He ran by the pitcher's mound back into the dugout, and Palmer flipped him the ball, and Charlie caught it and walked off with a great souvenir.
That is awesome.
I also have video from that same day of Charlie singing in the clubhouse with all the Ranger players and some of the opponents coming off the field and during batting practice to listen to Charlie sing. He used to do that quite a bit.
She rolls one up the middle. Sliding stop Nunez, and it's sort of first down in time, nor was it held by Davis. Great effort on both ends, but they can't get Chu, and that's an infield hit.
Great try all the way around. Nunez not a shortstop, but that's where he was playing against Chu. So he gets to it, slides, does the 360, throws, and Chris Davis trying to pick it, wasn't able to pick it. Well, let's see if he would have been safe even if he did. Tough to say. Looked like it was a base hit all the way, even if he did pick it. Yep.
So the inning continues for Rougned Odor, who's walked twice. Breaking ball from Donnie Hart. Hart, who pitched at Texas State, 27th round pick back in 2013 by the Orioles. Not a big guy, 5'10", 170. Ball blistered right past Steve Buechele. Took a lot of time to think about exactly how you're going to get out of the way of those, but he did. Two and one to Rugi. So Odor walked in that first, walked in the second, both those times against Andrew Cashner. Cashner, when an inning and 2/3, allowed 10 runs on 7 hits. That is a career high in runs allowed for Andrew Cashner. Previous career high was 8 runs in a game. Odor looking for something different there.
Definitely a tougher look for a left-hand hitter against Donnie Hart. Comes from that sidearm delivery. For left-hand hitter, feels like it's over toward first base behind you when it comes, and then that big slurve breaking ball. Tough pitch for a left-hand hitter. I mentioned that right-hand hitters have been very successful against him. And at that time, Rugi laid off it.
Three and two the count. See if he tries that breaking ball again. Off the plate, and Odor walks for the 3rd consecutive time. Can't say it for sure, but I gotta believe that's the first time he's walked 3 times in the first 3 innings of the game. Hey, Fox Sports Southwest of the Texas Rangers are going outside the box this summer. It's a way for Rangers fans to find out what the team is doing behind the scenes. Coming up, Outside the Box, focused on the Rangers' efforts in giving back to the community. That's coming up on Tuesday. Join us for a special broadcast August 7th against the Mariners. This ball hit well out to left field, and it will get down just over the head of Mancini. 2 is in. Odor retreats to third base. RBI double by Andrews. It's 11-1 Rangers.
We talked about Elvis in the spotlight today. He hit in 12 straight. It's 13 straight now, and 3 hits in this game. Boy, nice job of hitting there. Fastball inside corner, and that's getting the barrel on it and turning on one. Ripped that by Mancini in left field.
So 2nd and 3rd with 2 out. Beltre takes a strike. Rangers have scored in every inning so far. And indeed, Rougned Odor with the 3 walks in 3 innings. It's never happened. Just 3 walks. Those 3 walks tie a career high for a single game for him. Beltre flying out in the first inning. He walked and scored in the second. 2-1. Rangers home after a really successful road trip. They swept the Astros in Houston. The only team this year to sweep the Astros in a series. And then took the opener in Arizona, but split that 2-game series with the Diamondbacks. Nearly a perfect road trip. Beltre had a 5-game hitting streak that came to an end Tuesday night in Arizona when he went 0 for 4. Hart off the plate. It's a full count. So Hart, who came in to get the final out in the second inning and now pitching the third, he has had to throw a lot of pitches. Now at 27 already tonight.
There have been a lot of pitches thrown in the second and third inning.
Oh, strike three called. Beltre thought he had a walk. I'll have to talk with Bruce Dreckman, but the inning is done. Rangers will settle for the run. They leave two in scoring position after 3 innings. It's 11-1. The 4th inning tonight. Our Kubota power stats for Giovanni Gallardo. How about this? 3 home starts, a 2-0 record, and ERA sub-4. Opponents hitting just 197 against him. A whole lot better than the road starts. And he dumps one right in there for a strike to Trey Mancini. Mancini, Nunez, and Peterson. The Orioles do here with the 4th inning. Mancini flying out to center field. And takes this one a little bit low. 2-1. Gallardo, this is his 8th start with the Rangers. And he does get some pretty good run support. As again here tonight. This one into left field. That's a base hit for Mancini. Lead man aboard. Renato Nunez. The last start that Gallardo made was down in Houston over the weekend, and Rangers won that one 11-2. There's a strike to Nunez. That one gets away. Breaking ball runs to the backstop, and Mancini goes to second base. That'll be a wild pitch. One and two the count. Nunez, the former Oakland A, And then this year, Texas Ranger just gave him a look earlier this year at third base, and it was okay. Certainly a bat first guy. 2-2 the count. Now there is some power in Nunez's bat. Last year in his time in the Oakland organization, most of it at AAA, he combined for 33 home runs. He only played 8 games in the big leagues. But he had some other real big seasons in terms of power, making his way up the minor league system. He played in a handful of games with the Rangers. 2-2. And this one out to center field. Hanging up a little bit. DeShields able to run underneath it. 1 away.
And now it's time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. And with Jace Peterson coming up, let's take a look at the play. Lays the bunt down. Watch Adrian. His signature play, falling toward the third base foul line, somehow gets enough on that throw to make a beautiful play at first base. Dave, that's not the first time in the last couple of weeks you've seen that play, is it?
No, that's what's so amazing. Did it in Arizona, he did it in Houston. And it's a play that, you know, has definitely been the signature of his career defensively. But one we've seen less frequently. Last year, spent so much time on the disabled list, and even early this year. But he's got it working again. Bouncer first base, nice sliding attempt by Profar, but he can't quite corral it. Mancini stops at third, and Jace Peterson is on. Men on the corners with only 1 out.
Nice try by Jurickson. Ball takes one big hop right here. Tries to spear it. He wasn't sure where Rugi was. It looked like on that play that Rugi would have been able to go to his left to get that ball. Jurickson got to the ball easily. Just took a big hop on him.
He scored a base hit for Peterson. So Mancini at third, Peterson at first. Here's Caleb Joseph. Gallardo would love a ground ball here. Maybe a chance to get a quick double play, get out of the inning. Joseph struck out in the second, 0 for 1. Giovanni working with some run support tonight. Up by 10 runs in this 4th inning. Falling behind the 9th place hitter here. 3 balls and a strike. Joseph, a guy not real easy to walk. He has only walked 7 times this year. Puts this one down the line foul, and it's a full count. Baltimore, we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, they play in the American League Eastern Division. That means Boston, New York, Tampa Bay, Toronto. And not a good year for them to have an off year in that division, with Boston and New York being so good. A swing and a miss, and Joseph strikes out. So great job by Gallardo to battle back. Notches another strikeout, and there are 2 away.
The second time he's gotten Caleb Joseph. Joseph has been a hot hitter entering this game. Giovanni just threw the fastball by him there. See the 2-seam fastball. Ball pretty much near the center of the plate, but he got that one by him.
Big out. And now Jonathan VR, who takes high, ball 1. How about this little number right here for you? With runners in scoring position, the Orioles strike out 26% of the time. Worst in baseball. Today 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. And a big swing and a miss by VR.
Which goes back to the point that this has not been a good year for Baltimore. 41.5 games out of first place. Buck Showalter in his 9th season at the helm in Baltimore. I'm sure it's tough for him on a nightly basis.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to come right down to the stretch for the #1 draft choice next year in the baseball draft.
That's a good point. Not a
Baltimore and Kansas City battling it out. As bad as Baltimore's been, Kansas City's right there with them.
Keeping pace. In the dirt, 2-2. These are really historically bad seasons they're having. Baltimore 33 wins, 75 losses. It's a winning percentage of barely over 30%. Liner, first base, and right there for it is Profar, nicely done. And he turns in another great defensive play. Orioles lead 2 more. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. This one all Rangers tonight. Shiner light blonde, it's light done right. Well, our 3rd pitcher of the night from the Baltimore Orioles, Jan Martinez, has come on here in the 4th inning.
8th game for Martinez, 3.86 ERA. Fastball, slider, and a changeup for number 59.
Thank you for catching that, Martinez.
I think that's how you say it.
No, I think you're
What'd
right.
you say?
I said Martinez. Hang in there, Dave. Well, you said enough. You're bound to be right eventually, I suppose.
It's close.
Well, he gets Profar to start the inning. Now, time for our lows, whole team together. Profar, you look at Rangers batting averages after the All-Star break. Well, there's Profar at 323, 4th highest on the team, which says more about the team, I suppose, than it does about Profar. He's done well, but guys like Odor, Kiner Falefa, Elvis Andrus doing even better. The 1-1. That one fouled away. Profar's had a good night, though. The 3-run homer, the RBI single. He has scored twice, driven in 4. And this is just the 4th inning.
Watch out.
Hit hard. Ooh.
Tell by the sound of that one that he needs a new one. A little bit lower exit velocity because of the broken bat, which I hope gave everybody a chance to get out of the way.
Yeah, that maybe took just enough out of it, because that thing was off the bat in a hurry. And he has been making impressive contact of late. Mariñez closing in on his 30th birthday. Feels off the plate. 2-2. And Mariñez, he's been well traveled. We even saw him briefly here with the Rangers last year. This one down to first base. Davis will take it to the bag himself. Profar retired. One away. Join us tomorrow night. Our celebration of Hall of Fame broadcaster Eric Nadel takes place. His 40th anniversary as the Texas Rangers radio announcer. First 15,000 fans to the ballpark. You're going to get Eric Nadel 40th anniversary microphone courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Kroger. Orioles and Rangers 7:05. Then postgame fireworks after the game. Set the music selected by Eric Nadel. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. That's Eric's thing, man. The music, it's a great idea. Have him select the music that will accompany the fireworks tomorrow. 1-0. Inside, ball 2 to Joey Gallo. Gallo has put 2 balls in play tonight, and both of them have stayed fair by the first base bag by about 1.5 feet both times. Once corralled by Davis for an out. The other one shot all the way out into the corner for a double. Davis might be playing too far off the line right there. Joey does have a tendency to pull it a little bit. Three and one.
Mariñez has pretty nice movement on his fastball, tailing away from a left-hand hitter. Pretty good velocity, mid-90s. Used to be when someone was throwing in the mid-90s, you kind of took notice. Now it's pretty much a given that most bullpen guys come in throwing 95 miles an hour. Maybe not most, but quite a bit of them. Almost all the late-inning bullpen guys do.
Gallo takes the walk here in the 4th inning. Brings up Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. That's 5 walks so far for these Rangers hitters. And a strike to Isaiah, who had the RBI double in the 2nd inning. It was an unfortunate out at second base. As he arrived with the baseball and came just slightly off the bat. This one out into left field. That's a base hit. Gallo will stop at second. Kiner-Falefa with his 2nd hit of the night. And it gives us a moment to pause and check in with our friends at Southwest Kia.
At Southwest Kia, we've made car buying easy. $250 down delivers, monthly payments $250 a month or less. SouthwestKia.com.
Another good night offensively for Isaiah.
Yeah, he just has good at bats. Came into the game in his the last week hitting close to 400. 2 more hits today.
Calhoun with a hit tonight. He had a double. He's also bounced back to the mound. Gets this ball out to center field. Hanging up a little bit. Jones going back. That one is over his head. Bounces up off the wall and past him. Gallo is in. Kiner-Falefa to third, and Calhoun with his 2nd double of the night.
Rangers lead 12-1. That ball hit pretty well.
Sure was. That ball was hit a lot better than I thought it was off the bat. That ball was right at Jones. Looked like he had a beat on it. Willie hit that ball so hard he just shot over his head. He couldn't get to it. Pretty nice tailing action on it too. Got it to the outside part of the plate. Willie put a charge in it. See Jones going back. I think he thought he might have a chance, but just got up there and took off.
It's a sixth Rangers double of the evening, and now DeShields takes a breaking ball away for ball one. Lino has one of those doubles that came in the second inning. He's 1 for 2. Ball, 1 strike. Well, the Rangers 3 runs in the first, 7 runs in the second. They've scored a run in the third and another here in the fourth. Season high so far tonight. Got a ways to go yet. Two balls, 2 strikes. So Marinas, he's not getting a gimme inning either. This will be his 20th pitch of the fourth. He's only recorded 1 out. Falefa at third, Calhoun at second. And it's a full count. Kiner Falefa is the only Rangers starter in this one who has not yet scored. Everybody else has crossed the plate, including Gallo, Profar, Andrews, and Odor, who have done it multiple times. Inside, there's ball 4, so they're loaded up. Turn the lineup over now with the bases loaded for Shin-Soo Choo. And you can come out August 7th, autograph session with Choo to take place at Whataburger at State Highway 161 and Arkansas Lane in Grand Prairie. Starts at 10:30 in the morning. While there, sign up to be a Whataburger What a fan. You could win tickets to a Rangers game and Whataburger for a year. Just go to TexasRangers.com/appearances for some more information. With a chance to do further damage here for the Rangers. He's 1 for 3. The Rangers with the bases loaded this year, 71 runs, 66 RBIs. Both of those rank 5th in the American League. Red Sox, Indians, Astros, and Yankees, the teams above them. 0-2. Remember when we started the year, it was the Rangers' kryptonite was loading the bases. They just rolled over, it seemed like, inning after inning when they got the bases loaded. They turned that around. Now really taking advantage of these spots. Oh, 2. Choo strikes out, so whoops. Take it all back. 2 away. And here is Odor.
A couple of times tonight, Shin-Soo has gone down on strikes with a man on third base in less than 2 outs. This time the bases loaded in less than 2 outs. Shin-Soo is 3 for his last 22. A little bit of a downturn for him after an exceptionally hot 2 months.
So Rugi walks in the first, second, and third innings. Ties a career high in number of walks in a game for Odor. But now they've got to throw him something here. We'll see.
They're having a hard time throwing it over the plate to him.
It's funny. I mean, they're still shooting corners, and he's still taking.
It's combined with having a hard time and not wanting to. Tough spot if you're Mariñez right here. Feel like you have to throw a strike. Watch out if you do.
2-1.
Good movement on that pitch.
Orioles pitchers closing in on 120 pitches already for the night. We're in the 4th inning. 2-1. And there's ball 3. I mentioned earlier that we saw Mariñez last year briefly with the Rangers. He pitched 4 times in relief. Didn't quite get 8 innings in. Very well traveled. Big pitch right here. The 3-1. Odor fouls it off. Now should Odor extend the inning, Andrews, who's 3 for 3 already, would get another chance.
That'd be something if Rugi walked and Elvis got a hit. Elvis be 4 for 4 and Rugi'd be 0 for 0 with 4 walks.
Runners everywhere. They'll be moving on the pitch. Here it comes. And a foul ball.
Well, Mariñez is flirting with ball 4. He doesn't want to throw it near the middle of the plate. He's starting it on the outside part of the plate and tailing it slightly off the plate. 2 strikes. Tough to lay off that pitch. Tough to anticipate how much that 2-seam fastball is going to tail away from you. That one was slightly out of the zone, but Rugi got a piece of it anyway.
For 3-2. Ball 4. And for the first time in his career, Odor has walked 4 times in a game. And with that walk, it makes it 13-1 Rangers, but also gets kind of Falefa to the plate, so every Ranger has scored. There we go. Everybody can breathe that sigh of relief. Still loaded now. Calhoun at third, DeShields at second, and Odor at first. And so now a chance to accomplish what you just suggested, which was if Odor could walk, get Andrus up, and a base hit, he'd be 4 for 4, and Rugi would be 0 for 0. 4 walks. 1-1. Now one of those nights, 13 runs, 12 hits for the Rangers. 1 run, 5 hits for the Orioles. This ball hit well out to left field. Mancini is back, but he is there. And so he hauls it in to win the inning. Rangers leave them loaded, but they score 2 more. It's 13-1 as we go to the 5th. Rangers on top as we move this one along to the 5th inning. It's been a tough year for these Baltimore Orioles, projected right now to win 50 games. The Royals on pace for 51. The White Sox on pace for just 57 wins. You got to go back to 1948, the last time you had 3 teams in the same league with fewer than 60 wins.
Wow.
St. Louis Browns, the Washington Senators, and the White Sox.
And then you've got the Red Sox, the Yankees, and Houston. All have a chance to win 100 games, I guess. Kind of the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah.
Kind of the theme of this season, really.
There's some pretty severe imbalance, it seems, in the American League. Is Tim Beckham, second place hitter for Baltimore, leads things off here in the 5th. It's a game that Baltimore did lead initially, 1-0. But that was short-lived. The Rangers would score 3 in the bottom of the 1st, 7 in the 2nd inning, and then it just kept rolling. Off the plate, it's 1-2 to Beckham. I guess the good news for the Orioles is even if they were to lose every single game the rest of the way, and that would be pretty awful, they would have 129 losses. As this ball hit hard into center field, Beckham is aboard with a base hit. But 129 losses would still be a few shy of the old 1899 Cleveland Spiders that went 20 and 134. Still the worst record all time.
What they do? Kick them out of the league? How long were the Spiders in the league?
Yeah, the Spiders were around. They were one of 2 teams owned by the same guy, and what he did was
consolidated.
Yes, he did. He took all the good dudes off his Cleveland Spiders of 1898.
Boy, that'd be one to do today. Some guy with billions and billions of dollars buy 2 teams, put them together, and then sell an expansion team.
They really have something. A little flip back to second to force out Beckham, 6-4.
How much would you have if you combined Baltimore and Kansas City? Like if you combined, let's say if you combine Baltimore, Kansas City, and the White Sox, take the best they've got. I haven't done this. I'm just tossing it out there. Could they beat the Yankees, the Red Sox, or Houston?
Like in a 5 or 7 game series?
No, in the course of 162 games. You consolidate that team. Could they beat either one of those teams?
I don't,
3 teams together.
I kind of don't think so. Do you?
I don't think their rotation could stand up.
Yeah.
3 teams. They couldn't even come. All right, here's another one. Would all 3 of those teams have one guy that could start for the Astros rotation? I don't think so, do they?
Well, nobody on the Orioles. I'm trying to think of the White Sox. No.
They might not have anybody left in the bullpen either. And then you go position by position. No one's starting ahead of Bregman, Correa, Altuve. Probably not Gurriel.
Well, you might take
Springer.
Abreu. You might take Abreu from the White Sox and put him ahead of Gurriel.
Good point. Yeah. Even though he's not having a very good year this year, but he's got more power.
That would.
There's got to be an outfielder or 2 that could start.
Yeah, I think we could probably find an outfielder. And Springer's going to stay out there. But yeah,
but you could do it with almost all those teams. Yeah. Try to find somewhere where someone on any one of those teams could start for the Red Sox, the Yankees. Like you say, there's a few spots, but not many.
To have Buck be the manager of that 3-team.
Yeah, I don't know that he'd be in a whole lot better position than he is right now. I guess he would be. Have to be. Now, 3-4 years down the road, and if you combined all the farm teams and all the players in the minor leagues, you'd have to like their chances down the road, especially if you get a couple of them all picking in the top 5 of next year's draft. They're going to have a lot of prospects for 3 or 4 years down the road, but it's going to be a while.
Fouled away, stays 3-2 on Trumbull. Man on, 1 out here. So you got to go back a long, long way to find 3 teams in the same league, all with fewer than 60 losses, which
those three might be able to accomplish this year. This ball blasted out to left field. Calhoun going back. Does he have room? He's near the wall. No, it just gets over. Trumbo hits his 13th of the year. On a full count pitch, hits that 2-run homer and makes it 13-3.
Trumbo has driven in all the runs. Hit the RBI ground out in the first. Let's see what he hit. Got a fastball pretty much near the center of the plate. Giovanni challenged him with a big lead. And Trumbo barely got it out of here. He hit it high. Didn't get to the seats, but between the fence and the seats.
Not just enough for Trumbo and the Orioles. Now Davis, who has that big time power, but he just hasn't shown it as often this year. Only 13 home runs to his ledger this year. Up and in. 2 balls and a strike. So let's just forget about, like I mentioned, the Spiders, right? 20 and 134.
Bad year. That was a real bad year.
Bad year. Back in 1899. But obviously not as many games. As a pop up into center field, the Shields coming way in, and he'll get there. 2 away. Let's talk winning percentage, because that's really what we're talking about here. So how about 3 teams with winning percentages in the 30s, right? Start with a 3, and that's what you have right now with the Orioles, Royals, and White Sox. You got to go back to 1895.
Whoa, man.
Well, last time 3 teams.
You're talking historical.
Yeah. Man. So those are the old Louisville Colonels back in 1895.
They went from the big leagues to the minor leagues. They became a AAA team.
Relegation like they have in soccer.
Yeah. Last place team goes back to the minors. Just like soccer.
Yeah, they weren't a very good baseball team, the Louisville Colonels, but they did come up with the 11 secret ingredients, as I understand it.
Well, I'm sure. I'm sure a lot of the teams are looking at the Astros and some of the other teams who took a major step back. The Astros lost 100 games 3 years in a row, and they're using that model. Bear down.
Yeah, take your losses and build for
develop.
The future.
But Astros did a pretty good job of rebuilding. Can the other teams come close to that?
Well, the inning is done. A 2-run homer by Trumbo makes it 13-3.
Back in the Wayback Machine. Remember, it was these Baltimore Orioles on July 30th. Adrian Beltre smashed that one down into left field. Ends up at second base with a double, and it was a round number. 3,000 for Adrian Beltre on that Sunday afternoon. A brilliant and memorable day. And so much fun. And Buck Showalter went out to the hill there as Mariñez was warming up. Apparently, Mariñez hurt. So he just left, went up into the clubhouse, and now
he had to call down and ask for volunteers. No one got up. So they had to appoint someone to come into the game.
I'm sorry, this number has been disconnected. Well, one of those nights for Showalter and the Orioles, but he will get a new pitcher reluctantly. Emerging from the bullpen, Miguel Castro is the new man up. We'll take a quick break on this pitching change. Back in a moment. Getting all kinds of time to loosen up and get ready to come to this ball game. Bottom of the 5th inning, Rangers with the 10-run lead. This is a very new-looking Baltimore team after the trade deadline. And Tom, I asked you earlier about, as a former general manager, when you look at the trade deadline, how closely do you watch it? I mean, this is a very active deadline period, it seemed to me. So what stood out then? Were there any particular moves that you thought either were really compelling or maybe put a team over the top, or that just surprised you?
You know, a lot of it was good teams trying to get better. A lot of teams trying to improve their bullpen. A lot of bullpen guys were traded. Keone Keller, of course, was traded. Darren O'Day, Brad Brock were traded from the Orioles. Closers changed spots. There's some closers. Brad Hand was traded to Cleveland. Some closers that became setup guys. Some closers that turned into setup guys because of the players that their team acquired. I didn't see anything that was really shocking. Saw Bryce Harper's name toward the end, like that he might be available. That would have been fun to see, but it made sense for the Orioles to trade the players they did. You know, they're not going anywhere. They might as well try to get whatever they can. Manny Machado is going to be a free agent. No secret, he probably wouldn't be back. Not probably, he wouldn't be back the next year. Red Sox and the Yankees went back and forth trying to acquire players. That's not surprising that they did that. Tampa Bay traded their ace Chris Archer, got some young players back in return. So no, I didn't see anything that was really shocking. How about you?
I wondered about, there were a couple of things that stood out to me. One was Jonathan Scope being traded by Baltimore to Milwaukee. Not that Baltimore wouldn't trade Scope, but Milwaukee just didn't look like that was necessarily filling a real need for them. As this ball hit hard into left field, base hit for Adrian Beltre.
Yeah, they definitely have a little bit of a surplus of players to get into a lineup, especially in the National League. Don't have a DH.
Yeah, their general manager, David Stearns, said something to the effect of our philosophy is get as many good players as you can, great players you can, figure it out from there.
He was available. He was so good, I just couldn't turn him down.
We'll take him. Sure.
And figure out how to put them all together. So we'll see if they do that.
Profile.
I like what the Pirates did. The Pirates go back 3 weeks. They probably would have been selling right now, but they've had a great 3 weeks. They played themselves back into contention for the wild card. They acquired some good players, gave up some really good young players. So they were very aggressive, kind of turned what they were probably thinking 3 weeks ago into something entirely different. But they were able to acquire Keone Kela, late inning bullpen guy for him. Chris Archer, #1 starter. Pretty good moves. Deliver a nice message to your players, to your fans, that even though you've got some ground to make up, you're going for it. It's been a long time since the Pirates have been in position. I mean, they've been knocking on the door a little bit, but let's face it, over a 10 or 15 year period, there haven't been a lot of years where they had stuff to cheer about. So they're going for it.
Yeah, I definitely liked what they were doing. The one that was interesting to me was in recent years, the Houston clubhouse had expressed, and at times I thought almost inappropriately so, players and whatnot, discontent over a lack of activity by their front office. This year, their front office a little more aggressive, and they went out and they got Roberto Osuna from the Blue Jays, who comes with a little bit of baggage with his domestic abuse problems. His serving suspension will come off this weekend. And so now their front office went out, they were aggressive, they made a move, brought in this guy, and it's created a different kind of problem where now politically, socially, there seems to be a little bit of trouble in that clubhouse and in the community. People don't really love the move.
Yeah, Justin Verlander said he's going to reserve comment till he gets an explanation from the player. So that player's walking into that clubhouse off a 75-game suspension for a very serious situation, and he's going to walk in there and he's going to have to sit down and talk to the players about it. So that's going to be interesting to monitor.
So it's an addition of a player, but also of a distraction, it seems, there in Houston. Is count now 0-2 on Gallo, and they'll handle it the way they handle it. But Houston, for all the great things they've done and as good a team as they are, don't look now, but Oakland really making a move. Oakland 5 games back in the division. 1-2 the count on Joey Gallo. And I was looking at the schedule recently. How about Oakland? They just began a series on July 30th. If you take the series that begins on July 30th, take them all the way to September 11th. Number up into the back, and Gallo will reach. Opposite field single for Joey. Beltre to second base. 2 out, 2 men on.
Well, Joey's got a lot of those coming. He's hit into the shift so many times this year. He wasn't trying to go to left field with this swing. That's his normal swing. He just hit it right off the end of the bat and cued it toward third base. Just got a piece of that thing, spinning like crazy. Turns into a base hit.
You're right, Manny. He had some of those coming. And the Rangers hit against the shift 35% of the time. Second highest percentage in baseball. And they've had so many that they have lost to the shift. Gallo with an exit velocity of 50 miles per hour on that one. He got a base hit.
Oh, from 115 to 50.
Good day for Kiner Falefa. He'll take a strike from Castro. So anyway, looking at the schedule for Oakland. Oakland from July 30th to September 11th, they play 3 series on the road, 10 total games. Everything else at home. They'll have 6 off days and 27 home dates against just 10 road games.
Wow. Well, they've been okay at home. They're 7 games over. They're 11 games over on the road. They've actually been a little bit better on the road, hit the ball better on the road, but I don't think you get anyone on their team to complain about that schedule.
Swing and a miss by Kiner Falefa, and he strikes out 2 away. Yeah, they're set to make or perhaps extend the run that they're on right now, which has been pretty impressive. There'll be a little bit of pressure on Seattle, a little bit of pressure perhaps even on Houston.
Well, Seattle had a little bit of a chance. They were able to do what the Rangers did against the Astros. The Astros played pretty well in Seattle. Rangers really helped the A's out, helped the Mariners out. Now it's up to them to take care of the rest.
2 out here in the 5th inning, 2 men on. Will Calhoun with a couple of doubles, a run scored, an RBI. Good day at the plate.
It's such a strange schedule this year. If the Rangers were in contention with the Astros, they'd be done. They wouldn't even face the Astros in September. Which, not playing anybody, a team in your division in September, or at least late in August, not the best thing. I want to go head to head with the teams you have to beat in September. Hopefully, haven't seen the A's schedule and Mariners schedule. I have to assume they're going to be able to do that.
Well, they have 10 games remaining head to head with one another as Calhoun fouls it away. Look at the American League wild card, and there they are tied for the 2nd wild card together, and they'll play 10 games against one another. So, you know, and that's what you want.
Yeah, exactly what you want.
Well, Tampa Bay all of a sudden sneaking in there. They're 7.5 out, but somewhat in that conversation. 2-2 now on Calhoun.
Yeah, Seattle and Oakland are 6 games behind the Yankees for the wild card, but they're only 5 games behind Houston for the division.
Well, a wild pitch here, but Beltre at 3rd, Gallo at 2nd. Calhoun couldn't hold up, and they ring him up down at 3rd. Mark Carlson said he went, and the inning is done. Miguel Castro striked out the side in the 5th. We go to the 6th inning, Rangers by 10. This weekend, Saturday night, in fact, we're honoring Hall of Fame inductee Vladimir Guerrero. First 15,000 fans to the ballpark get a Vlad Guerrero Hall of Fame bobblehead. Courtesy of Allstate, it's the Orioles and Rangers, game 3 of this 4-game series, and you can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com. Vlad Guerrero, just the 1 year here, but a great one it was in 2010. Nunez leading off here in the 6th inning. Nunez 1 for 2. Then it's Peterson and Caleb Joseph. Gallardo ahead 0-2. A lot of run support tonight for Giovanni. We're up here nearby Fort Worth. Great Trimble Tech star. And this one's pop foul out of play. 0-2. So Tom, you and I were talking this afternoon. I don't know if it's a fair question yet, but I mean, this is the 8th start of the year for Giovanni. Seems like a slightly different guy than we saw last time he was a Ranger.
Yeah, I think the trip he made to the minor leagues with the Rangers really helped him. He pitched very well there. He talked about speeding up his tempo a little bit, and he's had a couple of games that have put his ERA almost near 5. But if you look what he's done recently, 2 shutout appearances, 1 against the Astros, 1 against the Indians. Pretty solid start today. If he gets through the 6th inning unscathed, he will have had a quality start. 3 runs in 6 innings, won 3 in a row. Well, he will have won 6 games since June 23rd. 5 was tied for the most in the American League. 6 might be the most after today. So yeah, I think he's definitely pitched himself back into relevance. We were talking about, has he pitched himself into a position to be in the Ranger plans for next year? I think when he got called up, it was kind of a wait and see attitude. Let's see what he's got before we even think about that. But as the season winds down and he keeps pitching better and better, Rangers rotation, at least at this point in time, is not solidified for next year. So I think he's pitched well enough to where the Rangers have to at least consider that, think about it. When they got him, they might not have been thinking about it, but I think he's looked well enough to deserve some consideration for that.
It's Peterson to chase one there for a strike. Peterson has tried to bunt his way on, but he's also singled down to first, a ball that was knocked down by Profar, but Jurickson couldn't quite get a handle on it. Now in a hole 0-2. It'll be an interesting offseason for Gallardo, and certainly for the Rangers, as they no doubt already thinking about how things will come together for next season. They certainly take inventory of the way guys like Gallardo have been throwing lately and throw down the stretch. Little tapper, first base side. Gallardo has it and tags out Peterson, 1 away. Nunez moves to second base.
Well, Giovanni helping himself out by bouncing off the mound like that and making the tag himself. And there's a lot of different ways to accomplish that. Sometimes doesn't stay on a big league roster, but comes as an invite to spring training, signs on with a minor league deal. Who knows in what form that could take? I'd have to think that Giovanni likes it here, having grown up here. Again, it's too early to make those kind of guesses and decisions. There's a lot of time left in the season. Let's just say he hasn't hurt his chances the way he's done since he's been here.
Trying to work around the leadoff single. Nunez at second base, and the count 1-1 to Caleb Joseph. Joseph, who has struck out twice tonight. Gallardo over 100 pitches. Eddie Butler on our Southwest Airlines bullpen live look. Not throwing out there. It's because he's already loose, ready to go. So another good evening for Gallardo. Certainly helps to get a little run support as he has once again. This ball hit well out to left field. Calhoun racing back will look up, and that one is gone. A two-run homer by Caleb Joseph, just his third of the year. And it's 13-5.
I mentioned that Caleb Joseph was pretty hot coming into the game. 19 for 56, 339 in his last 56 at bats. He struck out his first 2 times up. This time he gets a hold of one. Hits it pretty well. Got a hanging breaking ball right near the center of the plate. Hit it high, but hit it far as well. Looks like it's going to be it for Giovanni.
And he takes the baseball. Eddie Butler, who is ready to go, will be coming on. Nice start for Giovanni Gallardo. He'll lead with a 13-5 lead. Ford game summary, 13-5, Rangers on top here in the 6th inning. Big night for Rugia, career high 4 walks. Scored a couple of runs already, and one of those walks came with the bases loaded. Jurickson Profar having a nice night at the plate as well. 3-run homer the 1st inning, and then drove in another run in the 2nd. 6 doubles this one for the Rangers. Double scores for that hitting streak. Now at 13 games, everybody scored a run. And now Eddie Butler is on for Giovanni Gallardo.
Numbers for Eddie Butler on the season. He threw 1 pitch to retire the only batter he faced on Monday at Arizona. He got his first win as a Ranger. Pretty efficient.
Yeah, it's about as efficiently as you can get it done.
I guess you could come in, pick someone off, and not even throw a pitch.
Off the end of the bat, that one rolled by third, so VR with an opposite field hit. Second hit of the night for VR in his Orioles debut. Now Tim Beckham. Top of the order has been productive for Baltimore, with VR and Beckham combining to go 4 for 7 to this point. Then, as we pointed out a little bit earlier, this is it's an Orioles offense that has been clicking to some degree since the All-Star break. They lead the American League in runs per game. Balls and no strikes on Beckham. popped up and foul, and it's 2-1. Butler was part of the compensation for the Rangers in that Cole Hamels deal. Or was it the Chavez deal? So many deals with the Cubs now.
I don't remember.
I find myself getting a little confused. This ball hit out into left field. That is a base hit for Beckham. So back-to-back singles. Now, Butler was part of the time for the WinStar World Casino and Resort leaderboard as Adam Jones steps in here, and look at home runs by a center fielder, American League history. And there he is, Adam Jones, 5th on that all-time list. Mantle, Griffey, Fred Lynn, Bernie Williams. That's a pretty cool list to be on. Jones 0 for 2 with a walk so far in this one. Anyway, Butler, he was originally drafted by the Rangers, a 35th round pick coming out of high school. He told me at the time he knew he wasn't going to sign. This ball hit well down the left field line. And foul.
Well, the Orioles trail by 8 runs in this game, but they've had 11 hits. Mentioned earlier in the game that in 4 out of the last 5 games they've had 15 hits or more. They're on pace to do it again today.
Swing and a miss. This one gets away.
That pitch almost bounced. In fact, it might have bounced.
2 gone. Oh, look.
It did.
Speaking of Vladimir Guerrero a little earlier. Yeah.
That's being fooled by a pitch. Pretty good hitter, too, Adam Jones. He's always been the kind of guy, though, that swings at a pretty good assortment of pitches and not afraid to expand the zone a little bit. He's had a great career doing that. This year, for instance, he's been up 418 times. He's only walked 15 times. That is a scarcity of walks right there.
Trumbo homered his last time up. Wild pitch put Villar to third and Beckham to second base. And Butler's 1-1. A little low. So the other day at the end of the trade deadline, I saw John Daniels in the team hotel. You know, first thought was, has he had any sleep? Asked if he was all right, that kind of thing. He said, no, fine, it's all good. You know, I guess you start getting used to the patterns and stuff. Did you remember the trade deadline to be a particularly stressful, sleepless time?
Yeah, a couple of times. It wasn't that bad for us because we were very seldom trying to expand our roster and improve it. So you could kind of sit back and wait and see what you were offered for good players. But I can remember having to make a couple of tough decisions in both regards.
This one lined out to right field, and a diving catch made by Gallo. He wheels in the 3rd out of the inning. Go ahead at the bottom of the 6th.
Oh, it's 13-5. It could have been 13-7 without this stellar play from Joey Gallo. 6'5", 250 pounds, showing his athleticism on that one.
As we head to the bottom of the 6th inning, but boy, the play to get us to the bottom of the 6th inning was a special one from Joey Gallo.
It was. Rangers have a big lead, but it would have been a lot less without that play. Catch probability based on fielder metrics, only 10%. Well, the big guy showing you his athleticism out in right field. Got a good jump, the all-out dive. Saved a couple of runs right there. Who knows? That might have been a triple. Would have made the score 13-7. The inning's still going. Who knows what could happen? That was an important play at that point in time with men at second and third.
So now here in the 6th inning, Delano DeShields. Doubled earlier, walked his last time up.
Dave, you're talking about trades at the deadline. I'll give you a couple of examples of ones that we did have. There was one year where we were slightly in contention. I think we were 5 or 6 games behind Oakland. Felt like we needed a middle of the lineup hitter, and Harold Baines was available. And so Larry Himes was the general manager for the White Sox, and he asked for either Juan Gonzalez or Sammy Sosa, one of those two, and Wilson Alvarez. And I remember when he first asked, the answer was we wouldn't trade any one of those 3 guys for Harold Baines. But then, you know, you start thinking about, well, we've been down for several years. We've got a chance, deliver a message to the players, to the fans. Let's go for it. And so we decided to trade Sammy Sosa and Wilson Alvarez for Harold Baines, and didn't work out. Harold didn't like Texas, didn't play all that well here. Now, Sammy didn't establish himself with the White Sox. Larry Himes got fired by the White Sox and went to the Cubs and traded for him again. And this time it worked out pretty well for him. But Wilson Alvarez won 14 or 15 games the next year, and turned out to be a bad trade for the Rangers because it was a trade made for the present instead of continuing to build for the future at a time when we really weren't good enough to do that. So that was kind of a regrettable trade. The other one in the other direction was we traded Steve Buechele one year to the Pirates. The Pirates needed a third baseman, and they offered a couple of really good young pitching prospects, Hector Fajardo and Kurt Miller, who I guess at the time were probably 2 of the top 10 pitching prospects in all of baseball. And the Rangers had Dean Palmer ready to play third base, so it was extremely tough to trade Boo for what he'd meant to the franchise. But at the same time, it was a chance to get 2 of the best young starting prospects in all of baseball. And at the time, we were elated to be able to acquire them, and as it turned out, neither one of them ever did anything. So it just goes to show you how difficult it is to develop pitching. Those kids, you would just assume that one or both of them was going to be a successful major league starter, and neither one of them were.
So when you see the reactions to trades, you know, people, oh, I can't believe we got this, all we got, or we got that. Or,
let's wait and see.
You just wait and see.
Wait and see. You never know.
Swing and a miss by Chu, and he strikes out for a 2nd time tonight. 1 away here in the 6th inning. Brings up Rougned Odor.
No, it was tough to predict at the time that Sammy Sosa was going to end up weighing 240 pounds and hit 500 home runs. You didn't know that at the time. Right. I think everybody thought Sammy was going to be a terrific player, maybe a guy that would, you know, he was slim at the time, play a solid right field. He had a good arm. He ran pretty well. Might hit 30 doubles, hit 20 home runs, knock in 85 runs, steal 14 bases, which is a really good player, don't get me wrong. But it was tough to predict he was going to become that kind of player. At the same time, even if we only had to trade one player, if it was Juan Gonzalez, that trade was not going to be made. Everyone expected Juan to become the kind of player he did become.
Strike in there to Odor makes it 0-2.
I think in a lot of ways it's, at least for me, a little bit easier to anticipate what a position player is going to do than a pitcher. There's just so many things that can go wrong with a pitcher. Doesn't develop the pitch he's working on, gets hurt.
Odor sends this one high in the air and deep to right field, and gone! A towering blow into the upper deck. And Odor had waited all night. Finally got one to hit, and he did, his 11th homer of the year.
He hasn't had a chance to swing very much in this game, but he made the most out of one of them right there, upper deck. over the bullpen. That wasn't upper deck down the line. That was upper deck toward right center field. A fastball up, outside part of the plate, but belt high. And he crushes it into the upper deck. 11th home run for Ruby. He had a game on the last road trip where he went 5 for 5. He's been on base 5 times in this game, 4 walks and a 2-run homer.
Pretty nice night for Rougned Odor. And reaping a little bit of the patience right there. 4 walks. Eventually, they leave one over the plate. Well, he didn't miss too many of those.
Well, the way he swung at that pitch and the way he's been swinging is why the Orioles have gone out of their way not to give him a good pitch to hit tonight. To his credit, he was patient, waited until he got one, got 4 walks along the way, and when he got it, he hit it.
Ball, 2 strikes on Andrews, who has 3 hits already tonight. Still a ways to go in this one. Ruby should get at least 1 more at bat. Elvis pops this one up the other way. Second baseman VR out there, and that is out number 2. Well, the next Texas Chili Company Dollar Hot Dog Day will be next Wednesday, August 8th. Mariners and Rangers, final game of that 3-game series. Come on out here to Globe Life Park for the midweek day game and enjoy ballpark hot dogs for just $1 each. TexasRangers.com for your tickets or call 972-RANGERS. Base is empty now for Adrian Beltre. He'll hit this one up the middle. That's a base hit. Beltre's second hit of the night.
First baseman,
Williams gets a fastball down. That one's solidly past shortstop. Every Ranger has at least a hit in this game. 7 of them have at least an RBI.
Well, that was number 3,129 for Adrian. Now Profar will take outside. A 10-run lead. Jurickson hits this one to third. Diving stop, Nunez, and he'll hop up and make the play. Nicely done. And it ends the inning, but the Rangers add 2 more runs on the home run by Rugi. It's 15-5. By GMC. Visit your local GMC dealer today. Boy, Rougned Odor, on base average, closing in at close to 350. His OPS now near 800 for the year. After a slow start, he has turned it around and is having a monster go of it. And he has the Rangers in front by 10. Seventh inning now, and Chris Davis takes strike one from Eddie Butler. Well, Davis 0 for 2 with a walk. That's a foul. Look at the in-game box score. And the Orioles, much of the contributions concentrated near the top of the order, but I mean, it's been a decent offensive night for them. 5 runs on 11 hits.
Yeah, if the Rangers hadn't had a good offensive game, we'd probably be talking about how the Orioles continue their hot stretch of hitting after the All-Star break. 11 hits and 5 runs through 6 innings. It's pretty good. Finds them 10 runs behind tonight, though.
Davis lifts this one out to left field. Calhoun is there, though. Run away. Let's check in with Leslie McCaslin.
Well, guys, without Jake Diekman now, Keone Kela, I talked to Jeff Bannister before the game about how he plans to manage his bullpen going forward. And basically, he looks at it in 2 groups. He has 3 guys that can go 1 or 1+ innings, and then he has several other guys that can go multiple innings. And he said it just depends on the night. They could go starter, multiple innings guy, or they could go starter, multiple innings guy, and then a guy that could come in for 1 inning or more. But he said it won't be as matchup-based as it has been in the past. He also said, guys, he's not prepared to name a closer just yet.
Thank you, Leslie. And ball to third. And Mancini quickly retired 2 away. There's the guy in Leclerc who has handled most of the high leverage spots, and you would figure to get most of the opportunities in a close game to finish it off. But Manny has been clear about that. Does not want to put that kind of pressure on him or anybody else right now.
And there might be other guys to get a shot. Corey Guerin, Chris Martin pitched late in the ball game. Although he hasn't done it this year, Alex Claudio got a chance to save games last year, so he's done that before. In fact, Alex saved 11 games for the Rangers last year.
There's Alex. Well, Butler puts first 2 in there for strikes to Renato Nunez, who has a couple of hits tonight. I'm happy with that effort. 1 and 2. Rangers also did make an acquisition today. We saw earlier how the Orioles team has changed so dramatically in the last couple of weeks. Trade deadline, etc. Bouncer third base, diving stop. Beltran from his knees throws to first, and Nunez tagged out. What a play by Adrian Beltran.
Well, he's made a couple of them tonight. He made his signature play charging it, and he makes an all-out dive, doing things you wouldn't expect someone his age to be able to do.
It's light, done right. A fun one tonight. Rangers enjoying the big lead. Joey Rickard checks in the game in center field for Baltimore. Tanner Scott is the new pitcher.
Yeah, Tanner Scott's numbers. His ERA is pretty high, but he's got a good arm. He'll be tuning it up there in the mid-90s with a hard slider. A lot of potential with this kid. Hasn't translated into an ERA yet for him, but he's got a good arm. 30 innings, 46 strikeouts. Gives you a little bit of an indication. Still got some work to do, though.
Bottom of the 7th inning. Rangers with a 10-run lead, and the first pitch, Joey Gallo, just came out of his shoes. Strike one. Rangers in-game box score. You see everybody with at least one hit. And only 3 players held to just the single hit. A lot of production up and down the lineup tonight. On a night where they score 15 runs on 16 hits, I suppose that would stand to reason.
That's a great shot from right behind home plate. It gives you a little bit of a look at what a hitter has to look at with the pitcher. What the hitter sees from the pitcher. This kid's throwing 97 miles an hour. And there it goes.
Yep, that one's sent out to right field and gone. Gallo with a home run tonight, adding to the parade, and it's 16-5.
And that turned out to be a home run, but that's a very rare spot for Joey to hit a home run. Hit it to right field 2 rows back. What that tells you is he didn't get it very well. Did not hit off the barrel of the bat, but he's so strong it went out of here anyway. Didn't have that sound that his ball usually makes when it hits the barrel of the bat. That one hit right off the end of the bat. It still went 360 feet, far enough to be a home run. Must be nice to have that kind of power.
Yeah, that's impressive. Now upstairs to Kiner Falefa for ball 1. So for Gallo, his 27th home run of the year, and a 3-hit night for him.
Another walk for Joey in the game. He scored 3 times.
This one got in on Kiner Falefa. A little pop up to the right side. One away. There's been a lot of great offense tonight, but there's been some pretty impressive defense as well.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch it too. He's had a couple of hits and a walk in the game, and defensively, he's done the job as well. Jace Peterson with a bunt, had some spin on it. Adrian catches it, fires it, going toward the line with something on it. This play might even be better. 2 steps and a dive, throwing from his back. Jurickson and Profar got the ball in time to make the tag, so seeing a pretty nice game from Adrian tonight. Been on base 3 times with a couple of hits, scored a run, and made 2 stellar plays at third base.
Another run across, 16-5 Rangers. Calhoun shoots this one out to right field. Jace Peterson comes on and makes a diving catch. Nicely done, 2 away. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's say hello again to John Radigan. Pretty crazy right now, that National League East.
Yeah, as bad as Washington's played, they're still hanging in there. They're only 5 games out. That's going to be fun watching Philadelphia and Atlanta if they stay in it all the way.
So would you, I mean.
So happy for Gabe Kapler, seeing him coach and manage that team.
After his start, that first
such a likable guy.
That's pretty neat.
Great personality. You talk about a positive, upbeat guy. So much fun to talk to when he was here. Bright.
Good effort there by the grown-up gentleman. It was a youngster who came away with a baseball. Yep, right off. One finger on it.
Yeah, bring a glove next time. You have a bigger smile on your face, and your finger wouldn't be quite as sore either.
Well, the Shields Pops this one up into short right field. Peterson right there again. So the inning is done, but a Gallo home run adds to the Rangers' lead. It's 16-5. MLB.TV, now available at a lower price, $59.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game. Plus, get a free subscription to MLB At Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Go to MLB.TV to take advantage of this special offer. 8th inning now. Rangers lead 16-5, and Peterson made a couple of plays in the field just a moment ago. Leads things off here in the 8th. Peterson 1 for 2 with a sacrifice and the infield hit. Swings and misses. I started to mention about an inning ago that the Rangers made another move today, and it relates to the Baltimore Orioles. Rangers signed Chris Tillman to a minor league contract. Tillman had gone 1-5 with an ERA over 10 with Baltimore this year. But Buck Showalter saying before the game he thought that was probably a pretty wise move, and even suggested that maybe a little change of scenery might be just what the doctor ordered for Tillman. And also acknowledged the guy obviously has some pretty good stuff in there. If they can reharness that, who knows? Peterson flies out to right field, one away. Brings up Caleb Joseph.
Six straight retired by Eddie Butler after he gave up a couple of hits. Nice long relief outing for him.
Joseph sends this one out to right field. Gallo now moving to his right makes the play. 2 up, 2 down. We have a moment now. We can hear once again from the good folks over at Kia.
When you're America's Best Value, you don't need fancy uniforms. How'd you know it was clip-on?
So top of the order, and Jonathan Villar, the hitter. A couple of hits already tonight. Orioles in a big hole, 16-5. It's the 11th time this year that they had allowed double-digit runs. Only the 2nd time this year that they've allowed 15 or more runs in a game. Lately, they've been able to cover up some of the pitching problems with a real good offense. Today, their offense, though not bad, real tough time trying to cover up all of those runs. Chopper out to second. Odor makes the routine play. It's a 1-2-3 8th inning. for Eddie Butler, so he looks great in relief. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning, 16-5. Sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right. Oh, what a night tonight. Bottom of the 8th inning, Chu will lead things off. Chu 1 for 5 with a run scored, and Rangers leading by 11. Tanner Scott pitched the 7th inning, out here to pitch again in the 8th. It's 1-1. Rangers have scored in every inning but the 5th. And rookie Austin Wynns has come in the game at catcher for Baltimore. 2-1. Chu with 3 more strikeouts today. Shoots this one down the left field line. That could be trouble. It is. Down and into the corner. And Chu heads to second base. He has a leadoff double. It's a multi-hit night for Chu.
Let's take a look at our Southwest Airlines player breakdown. It's Rugi Odor tonight. He got a fastball center square and hit it well into the upper deck. Again, he didn't pull this ball. That's over the Ranger bullpen. That's a long way into the upper deck out that way. So in addition to the home run, he also walked 4 times, including a walk with the bases loaded. So he's driven in 3, he's scored 3, walked 4 times, and hit a home run. Pretty nice night. Clank.
That allows Chu to move up to third base. Beasley having a little fun with something there. Rangers have gotten some free extra bases today. There on that passed ball. And now Scott buries one. 2-0. It's a season high tonight with the 10 extra base hits. We've had a couple of passed balls, 4 wild pitches in this game tonight. Runners all over the place. This one fouled back our direction. and just below us. Real nice play.
Mm.
3-1.
97 miles an hour up near your eyes. Ruge barely backed away from it.
It's already been an unusual night for Odor.
Might get a lot more unusual right here if he throws ball 4.
Foul back, full count. Payoff pitch. And there it is. Ball 4. 5 walks for Rougned Odor.
I don't think last year, maybe at the beginning of this year, there's any way that he would have laid off that pitch. 3-2. Good slider. Slightly off the plate, down and away. And this time he took it all the way. Boy, that's really something. 5 walks tonight. He'd walked, coming into the game, I think he'd walked 22 times all season long. He's walked 5 times tonight.
Ties a franchise record for walks in a game. Milton Bradley and Teixeira had both done it, but that's it.
Well, you and CJ, we've been talking about this for a long time. All the improvements in Ruge, and you just keep seeing signs of it every night. Whether it's a nice defensive play, whether it's hitting a ball the other way, laying off a tough slider from a lefty down and away, hitting a home run, all these little things just every day show the improvements that he's making. And once you improve your defense the way he has, to go from a guy that was trying to be an average second baseman to a guy that I think right now is playing above average defense, you combine the walks with what he's doing offensively, and you're starting to get a pretty well-rounded start.
Forced down at second base on that fielder's choice. 5-4. With a run in, 17-5. It's the first time in Rangers history the player has walked 5 times in the game and homered. I mean, that goes without saying. Only 3 times any Rangers ever even walked 5 times in a game.
Does it have who the other guys are that walk 5 times?
Milton Bradley and Mark Teixeira, the other 2.
Bradley and Mark Teixeira, okay. I don't think there was any time last year where you would have predicted that Ruge would be the 3rd guy to walk 5 times in a game.
No.
Chu, maybe.
Ruge.
He's asking him to check. Oh, you took a full swing. You try to trick somebody with that one. Umpire said, come on, man, I don't have to check on that one. Almost pulled a muscle swinging at that pitch. You
2-1.
See the replay of the hitter in the Mexican League that took a full swing, and the umpire said he checked his swing on it? Have you seen that one? I'll show you that one later. They showed the home plate. The guy took a full swing. The home plate umpire said he didn't go, asked for the first base umpire for some help, and he said he didn't go too. I don't know if Adrian's is quite a full swing, but it's pretty close.
Pretty close. Fouled away. It's 3-2. But this Ruge, a 5-walk game with the home run. First Ranger to ever do that. Only a 4th player in Major League history. Hank Aaron, Mark McGwire, and Edgar Martinez, the other 3 who have done it. But remember, he just had a 5-hit game recently too. So a 5-hit game and a 5-walk game. in the last, I don't know, couple of weeks. Beltre hammers this ball high in the air, but not going to carry for him. Rickard is there. 2 away. Well, an invitation to come on out to the ballpark this Sunday. It's a 2:05 first pitch. Rangers will wrap up their 4-game series here with the Orioles. And the first 15,000 fans are going to get Ted Williams' first Rangers manager Hall of Fame bobblehead. Compliments of Sweet Baby Rays. And you can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS.
Well, the other thing Rugi has dramatically improved is his on-base percentage. He's a career .287 on-base percentage. His highest was 2015. It was .316. Coming into the game, it was .335, and he's been on base 6 times. So it's over .340 right now. And not only has he gotten his average back up to respectability, he's probably 20 or 25 points higher than he's ever been with his on-base percentage.
Yeah, I think he's right near 350.
350. So you look at ways that analytics, sabermetricians, how they would analyze the overall value of a player. They would look at walks, on base percentage, and the defense he's playing as ways that he's significantly becoming a better player. You know, he's hit 30 home runs twice, so you know he's got the power. But I like the way he's improved in those other areas. That makes him a much better, well-rounded player.
A lot of smiles these days from Rugi.
I guess so.
3-1 now on Profar. Man on, 2 out here. So according to our buddy Jared Sandler, if this ends up being a 9-inning game, then Rugi will be the first in Major League history to do it in a 9-inning game. 5 walks and a home run.
Wow.
Aaron McGuire and Edgar Martinez did it in extra innings. There's ball 4 to Profar, so he draws a walk. And Buck Showalter also going to walk out to the mound, that is, to take the baseball away and go deeper into that bullpen. So Scott is out, and they will bring in what, the 5th reliever of the game. 17-5 Rangers.
Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. By Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right.
Well, for the first time in nearly 2 years, the Orioles use a position player to pitch, Danny Valencia. Also the last man remaining on the bench for Buck Showalter to pitch here in the 8th inning with 2 outs, 2 men on. Joey Gallo at the plate.
It just seems in the last couple of weeks there's been a lot of position players getting into games.
It was a tough night tonight for the Orioles. Their starter Andrew Kashner couldn't get through the 2nd inning. He gave up 10 runs. Since then, every reliever who has pitched has allowed at least 1 run. So what the heck? I guess you go to your position players. 2-1 pitch. That'll even things up. Gallo's had a good night as well. 3 hits, a walk. He has scored 3 runs, driven in 2, has a homer. $17 runs, 18 hits for the Rangers. That's a full count. See Profar at first off of the distance. Elvis Andrus. This one popped up. Not our direction. Stays 3-2. The only time the Rangers did not score tonight was the 5th inning. And they got 2 of the first 3 hitters on base. They left 2 in the inning. Payoff to Gallo. Strike 3 called. Uh-oh, he doesn't like it.
91 miles an hour.
So Gallo goes down looking, and the inning is done. Rangers add another run, up by 12.
Us in the Rebecca Creek Saloon. Up in the window, waving at you. It's me, John Radigan, Yvonne Pudge Rodriguez, the Hall of Famer Mike Bassick. Rangers Live, presented by Fios by Frontier, coming your way next. Pudge, what are we going to talk about?
Well, I'm going to talk about this coffee that I'm drinking right now. No, good defense, good offense, a great game offensively for the Rangers. Wow, they came to hit tonight.
Yeah, and we'll look at Rugi Odor's historic night.
It was historic. We'll give you all the details on that and get you lots of post-game reaction, too. Rangers Live coming your way immediately following the game, guys.
All right, looking forward to it.
Well, if I was Pudge, I'd be talking about his son, Derek. Have you seen how he's been pitching for the Giants?
Yeah.
Man.
And we're going to get a chance to see him.
Talking about Rookie of the Year if he keeps going like this. Boy, that'd be something if we face him.
Would be awesome. Bouncer wide of the bag, foul at third. For a strike. 1-1 the count here on Tim Beckham. And, you know, another thing they might find themselves talking about in the postgame show could be Eddie Butler's first career save.
That's right.
And this, if he completes this, would be 3 2/3 innings of work. And one of those weird save rules, if you pitch the last 3 or more innings of a a win, and you came into the game with the team on top, well, that's a save. 2-1 pitch, and that's ripped foul. 2-2 on Beckham.
Yeah, Derek right now, he's 5-1, 2.59 ERA, 66 innings, only 56 hits, only 18 walks and 54 strikeouts.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Tapper by the mound towards second. Odor has to hustle it, and he gets it there in time to get Beckham. Nicely done, one away.
Yeah, he didn't panic. Knew he had a shot. Could have sprinted, shuffled the ball out of his glove, tried to barehand it. Instead, makes the fundamentally sound play and nipped him at first base. Yeah, another sign of maturity. Maybe last year he would have tried to barehand that ball, flip it with his glove, but realized he had time and he made it the safe way and got it.
Strike pitch to Rickard. It's a whole 0-2. Rickard came on in the 7th inning defensively, so his first at bat of the night. Eddie Butler, meanwhile, came in. He allowed back-to-back singles in the 6th inning, and since then has retired 9 in a row. Fly ball out to left field. Calhoun ranging back, and that one over his head. Bring it back in quickly, but Rickard into second with a 1-out double. So it's a 12-run lead here in the 9th inning. Looking ahead to tomorrow, game 2 of this 4-game series. David Hess has the ball for Baltimore. Our Ford Probables featuring Ariel Jurado making his 3rd start for the Rangers, and man, was he nasty.
Yeah, looking forward to
in
seeing
Houston.
that start. He gets back. A nice one tomorrow. That was impressive.
Mark Trumbo takes a strike. Yeah, that one, you know, had a lot of really encouraging things lately for the Rangers, and we've talked a lot about Rougned Odor tonight and his performance offensively, defensively. I'd say one of the other real bright spots, certainly in that series in Houston, was Ariel Jurado. And if he can do anything close to what he did against Houston, I'm not talking even so much those numbers, though they were very good. But what we saw, the movement, the action on his pitches, man, kind of swings he was getting. Ball and 2 strikes now on Trumbo. Trumbo homered back in the 5th inning. His 13th of the year. He swings and misses strike 3, so Butler gets his 2nd strikeout of the night. 2 away here in the 9th inning. That brings up Chris Davis.
He's got a chance to throw 3 2/3 with less than 50 pitches. Good fastball at 94 miles an hour. It's pretty good movement on it.
And of course, Eddie Butler has done some starting in his big league career. In fact, more starting really than relieving. 39 career starts, most of those coming with Colorado, but 11 starts with Chicago. And a comebacker, that one through up the middle and into center field. Around third base, Rickard, he scores, and Davis drives in his 36th run of the year, his first hit of the night. Now Trey Mancini. Rangers looking for their 47th win of the season. Gallardo went 5 1/3. Up with a big lead, and now 0-2 the count to Mancini. So Butler out on the doorstep here, 17-6. $19,367 in attendance tonight. The 0-2. Fly ball right field. Gallo is back, still going back near the wall, and it's gone. Mancini just clears the fence in right. Two-run homer for him. That's his 15th of the year.
Mancini last year hit .293 with 24 home runs. Bad start this year. Starting to pick it up now. Didn't like he did last year. Big leg kick. Gets it down in time and hits it out to right field.
So the base is empty now, and Renato Nunez pulls it foul.
It's not often you get 8 runs and 14 hits and find yourself behind by 9 runs. One more hit, and the Orioles will have 15 or more hits in 5 out of 6 games.
So Nunez has had 2 of them, both singles. A little high, 1-1. High fly ball, left field. Calhoun coming in. Well, the shield's coming over. Delino puts it away, and indeed, Eddie Butler does get that first save of his big league career. Giovanni Gallardo pitched well, gave it over to Butler, but 3 2/3 gets him that save. And what a night for Rougned Odor. 17-8, our final score tonight. Willie Calhoun, another Ranger, turned in a good night offensively. I mean, you could pick just about anybody out of the lineup today. Rangers scored in every inning but the 5th. So it was a great road trip and an even better start to this homestand. Well, Butler, really nice job in relief. And Jeff Bannister, that's a nice luxury. Your starter went 5 1/3, be able to call in a guy and just let him go the rest of the way.
Well, you have to use maybe 1 or 2 other pitchers in your bullpen. They're rested for tomorrow in case you need them. Giovanni gets his 6th win.
All right, 17-8, the final score. And we check in with Leslie McCaskill.
Yeah, 17 runs, 3 home runs tonight. What got into this offense?
I don't know. I mean, we've been scoring the ball up pretty often for like the last week, so just all came together tonight.
How important was it to get to Andrew Cashner early in this game like you guys did in that 2nd inning?
Yeah, it was really important just because he's the type of pitcher that that can really throw the ball. So our approach was just see as many pitches as we can and just keep on attacking.
Of course, you contributed as well, not only your first career double in the majors, but your 2nd career double, and I see you got to keep the ball. What does something like this mean to you when you get to accomplish something new at this level?
Yeah, it means a lot just because they're the first for everything. So for it to be the first one was really exciting.
What will you do with it?
I'll probably just give it to my parents. Yeah.
I love that. So you've been with us for a month or so now. You've seen Rougned Odor and what he's been able to do, the way he goes about his work. Tonight he had 5 walks and a home run. What have you picked up from him?
He's an unbelievable player. Just seeing him like from last year to this year is like night and day. I mean, he's a tremendous player. So being able to see him do what he's doing is pretty impressive.
All right, thanks, Willie. We appreciate it. Back to you guys.
Yeah, great job tonight. Everybody involved in a huge win for the Rangers to start this homestand. Coming up, John Radigan, Pudge Rodriguez, and Mike Bassick. Lots to talk about after this one. For Tom Grieve, Leslie McCaslin, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond, inviting you to stay with us. More Rangers coverage coming up right after this.